The night has come, but not too soon, and sinking silently, all silently, the little moon drops down behind the sky. There is no light in earth or heaven but the cold light of stars, and the first watch of night is given to the red planet Mars. Is it the tender star of love, the star of love and dreams? Oh no, from that blue tent above a hero's armor gleams. And earnest thoughts of within me rise when I behold afar, suspended in the evening skies, the shield of that red star. O star of strength, I see thee stand and smile upon my pain. Thou beckonest with thy mailed hand, and I am strong again. Within my breast there is no light, but the cold light of stars. I give the first watch of the night to the red planet Mars. The star of the unconquered will, he rises in my breast, serene and resolute, and still, and calm and self-possessed. And thou, too, whosoe'er thou art, that readest this brief psalm, as one by one thy hopes depart, be resolute and calm. O fear not in a world like this, and thou shalt know ere long, know how sublime a thing it is to suffer and be strong.
So we're talking about Star Wars, not John Carter here. I'm not sure what Mars had to do with.
Does Tatooine
anything.
count as a red planet?
Sure.
Is it
Mustafar is the redder planet.
true? I mean, it's hard to be redder than red hot. Yeah. Welcome to the Podumb, everybody. It's Star Wars Day.
Happy May 4th. Okay.
I mean, yeah. It'd be the day of reckoning, and
It is the day for all to come together under the same banner of Star Wars. What a glorious day it is.
George.
I always preferred
George,
Revenge of the Sixth myself.
All right. I thought it was the 5th, Revenge of the 5th.
I've seen both.
I mean, they both kind of work. Bunch of weebs. Anyway, so
So this is the Star Wars episode.
yeah. So if you haven't watched Star Wars before, don't watch this unless you want to. And then I'm not your dad. Do what you want.
Right.
Yeah. Star Wars to each of us means a little bit more and a little bit less. Going person to person.
Well, I don't know. I think it means a lot to all of us,
Yeah.
but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Luke and I were talking about this earlier. Just I would describe it that you, Gabe, your love of Star Wars comes from your love of lore, I guess, and just exploring that kind of world, while Luke is more, he enjoys them more from the cinematic perspective and like how different movies and movie canons interact, I guess. Whereas
Yeah.
I more liked it from the point of view of first movie making. Like I loved all the documentaries on how the original trilogy was made, and even the prequels. And I guess second from just a storytelling perspective. I don't know. Is that a fair?
It's pretty fair.
Okay.
Like I think a lot of people, like coming from your perspective, I think you're in the minority because people don't know about how much George Lucas did in order to make Star Wars real. Because whenever he was doing it, like there was no digital animation, there was no digital effects, there was no like post production outside of like rigging and doing puppetry. So through LucasArts, he made a lot of the software and the foundation work for everything we use on a computer for filmmaking. It was
wasn't Jar Jar one of the first full AI characters?
He was one of the first.
Yeah.
It's just it boggles my mind like how many people like look back at it all and like don't realize how much George Lucas paved the way for like
I think
everyone else in the industry.
There is a reason that the main like sound group or system or whatever you want to call it that a lot of movies still use is Skywalker sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The quality endures.
Right. His legacy does live on, it seems.
It probably will for a while.
I would argue it is dragging itself along like a zombie, but we can get into that later.
I don't know about that. The longer that this era is going on, the more I'm realizing where we're at right now as Star Wars fans, like me, you, and Luke, and or me, you, and Scott, whichever way you want to read it. What we're going through right now is the same thing what our parents would have gone through when the prequels came out. Because there was no Clone Wars to tell you what Anakin was like with Obi-Wan. It was just they were a master and apprentice, and then they disagreed and they fought. And that's all that they had back then. They didn't have all the adventures they went on or all the extra Clone Wars 7 seasons to go off of through character development. Just like we don't have anything sequel to go off of.
I think I disagree because wouldn't you have still enjoyed the prequel movies without the cartoons?
I don't know.
Because
As
I
a kid,
would've.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like where the original trilogy focused on plot development and relationships in the story, the prequels focused on boom, clash, fight scene, and that appeals to my young brain because they did the special effects way better because they had special effects to work with at that point,
Yeah.
and where it came short for me as a kid, it now has enveloped me in adulthood where it's the politics side. The new season of Bad Batch that just came out solidified all of my issues that I had with Phantom Menace as like just from like, oh, it's a scene in a political room. This sucks. But Bad Batch wrapped that all up for me at least.
Okay. Let's see. I think I saw most of the Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but I never watched the Bad Batch stuff.
The first season's all right. I had a lot of griefs with it. I thought about not watching the second season because of it, but I didn't finish the first season, and I understood all of the second season, and I don't know if I'll go back and watch the first season because it was mostly like, we're gonna see how this goes, and if it works, and we'll make a second season. If not, I mean, hey, we established the characters. Let's just figure it out later. So it was a lot of filler. It was a lot of character development. Some of that stuff sucks to watch, but you have to have it to make a good story.
Yeah. I guess.
I actually have not watched any of Bad Batch. I've kind of fallen off. Like the most of the new stuff that I've been keeping up with is Mandalorian.
I mean, that's fair enough. Like, that's the only, like, not animated series they have going on right now. Outside of, like, Boba Fett, which was basically Mando season 2.5.
and Andor, but again, I've heard that was good. I just haven't watched it yet.
It's so good. So good. Yeah, Andor fixed... So my philosophy, this isn't my wording, but it's what I've always kind of believed. I just didn't know how to put it into words. Every issue I have with Star Wars is because I haven't watched enough Star Wars. Every issue I had with the prequels was fixed through the Clone Wars and, you know, the other animated series for the Clone Wars and, you know, filling that gap. All the issues I had with the original trilogy were fixed because of the storylines in the prequels and through all the extra lore. And all the issues I've had with, and a little bit like extra, all the issues I had with Rogue One were fixed through Andor. And so far, all the issues I've had, some of the issues I've had with the sequels have been fixed through Mando season 3. I don't know. All right, so a little disclaimer for people listening. I don't know how many spoilers are going to be in this episode for like new media.
Oh, true.
So
yeah, probably blanket statement about we're going to be talking about what we've seen, which is, yeah.
Where we're at right now, Mando season 3 has not finished yet. Bad Batch season 2 just had their season finale. Ahsoka series has not come out at all. Skeleton Crew has not come out at all right now. So that's your little disclaimer.
And Jedi Survivor comes out in a couple weeks, doesn't it?
I think so. The
Fallen
second
Order
season.
sequel?
Yeah, the second season of Vision comes out, I think the day we're publishing this, so it's going to be before. And I think there was one more series that's coming out soon, but I can't remember what it was. Either way, that's where we're at in the timeline right now.
Well, what do you think about this? Why don't we start with the beginning, I guess? What do you guys remember the where you were in life, I guess, when you first watched Star Wars. What was that like?
I probably have the weirdest story out of all of us.
Well,
Now I'm intrigued.
well, let's get to him last. We'll entice
okay
the
then.
audience. Luke, how old were you, and what? Yeah,
Give us the
start
when,
there.
why, and how.
Oh, well, when I actually watched Star Wars, well, we started with the original trilogy,
Good.
Yeah.
which I do think is the best way for a first viewing.
Yes.
Subsequent, you can do however you want. But my
You know-
first...
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, go on. I'll tag it on at the end.
Okay. I want to say I was like 7 or 8 when I actually first saw the original trilogy.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I think. I don't actually remember.
So it was roughly
Okay.
like end of elementary school ish. Like
Yeah.
third, fourth grade.
Yeah, kind of around there. And what... The thing that got me, like, got my parents to show it to us was just how many things other things we watched that were referenced. That referenced Star Wars, I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I think technically the first Star Wars exposure came from Toy Story 2.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Oh
Where-
yeah.
Where they straight up just spoil the I am your father twist because they
Huh.
parody it. And I was talking to Scott about this earlier. In hindsight, I'm kind of mad that that's in
Yeah,
there because
that's like-
I've since seen videos and compilations of parents showing their kids Star Wars for the first time, and they get to the I am your father twist, and the kids are all just like freaking out and like, what? No, that's no, but he's the bad guy. And it's like, I wish I'd gotten to experience that.
Yeah.
It was making me mad listening to Luke because it was the exact same thing for me. Toy Story came first for me. And yeah, I never got to have that moment of wait, what? So yeah.
Huh.
So it's like, it kind of makes me want to do like a PSA, like, hey, movies, stop referencing the I am your father.
Interesting.
Because, like, and the thing is, that's not even the worst time Disney spoils that twist.
No?
Do y'all remember the movie Chicken Little?
Oh my wait. I don't remember the reference though.
In the first scene where they meet the little furry alien thing,
Yeah.
and it's talking to them, and the fish can inexplicably understand it.
Yeah. As you do.
He's talking, he's translating, and he's like, and they all understand the fish. And it's like, the alien's name is Kirby, and they left him behind? Darth Vader is Luke's father? It comes out of nowhere. It's a random spoiler. It has no bearing on anything. It's just in there to be a pop culture reference, but it's a spoiler pop culture reference.
I like that you leaned into this because this is how I found out about it before I watched it.
Yeah, it's like, at least with the Toy Story one, it's like a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Yeah. It could be anything.
Yeah, like, that one's just, the Chicken Little one is just straight up a crappy reference that spoils the movie.
Yeah.
Wow, I totally forgot about that.
That movie's worth forgetting about.
Whoa.
Whoa, hang
I don't
on,
know
wait,
if I
wait.
go that far. All right. I watch that movie as much as I watch Robots, which is like twice a month.
Even, well,
Don't press
Don't-
him because
don't
this
you-
will be a
dare.
17-minute bit.
no.
This is gonna be the episode. We're gonna have to record
Robots
again.
is better. But Robots is better. There's
Yeah, it
actually
is.
stuff to like about Robots.
All right. Whoa.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Robots.
He is.
Yes, he is. That's what I'm saying.
Automatically better.
I don't want to make
Anyway.
this a
Wait,
Chicken Little
wait.
episode.
There's a Star Wars
mean?
reference in Robots too.
Oh my
The
god.
little robot puts the voice thing in,
That.
and he says he's all like, the Force is strong with this one.
And then they lightsaber fight.
Well, no.
What? What do you mean no?
No.
You don't remember that?
No, it cuts to like the like I think it's a gear bus. It's a bus that like moves like a gear.
Yeah. All right, so there's one point in my life. Anytime my brother would get sick whenever he was like 8 or 9, we'd watch that movie all day, every day. I think I know a little bit more than you about this movie. There is a moment where they lightsaber fight with pipes. And they make that like a bit.
That's with
The grandma
with
and
Glenn,
the little toy.
Yeah, Glenn
thingy.
Close and the Obi-Wan's friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different scene.
Yeah, it's entirely different bit. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
So, Star Wars was just everywhere in our childhood. Apparently.
It was. That's because it was so like a huge landmark for cinema that we didn't get to see before, like during, but we got to see the after of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
When did episode 1 come out?
That was 1999.
99.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I didn't get to see the before or during of that movie, but the other two I was in the midst of.
I was 1.
So you got to experience it, but you just couldn't comprehend what you were experiencing.
You think my parents watched Star Wars? No.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's around you. It's in Disney and stuff. So, like, I mean,
It wasn't Disney at that point.
Yeah.
No, the prequels were actually a whole nother matter. I didn't get to see the prequels until like
Really?
5 or so years later. And the reason is because my parents thought that Anakin's like near death on Mustafar was too graphic.
I how old were you?
At that point, when I finally saw it, I think I was maybe 13, 14.
It is PG-13.
Yeah,
My
for a
parents-
couple
but,
reasons.
Like, so here's the thing, though. Like, they talked it up like it was the goriest thing
Oh, okay.
to have ever. Like, they were
mean-
talking about like his eyes are on fire and like and then we finally watched it and I was like, that's it, really?
Well, so for
You
more
made
context,
You made this sound like it was so like graphic, like this was an R-rated type of thing.
If you
like,
compare it to VeggieTales, it is.
yeah, but for more context, Luke had already seen R-rated movies at that point.
not R,
No,
but I had seen
what about
movies
the
where
X-Men
they like.
movies?
They're not R. Only 2
Oh.
of the X-Men movies are actually R.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think any of them had come out yet at that point. They do say the F-bomb in those movies.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean...
As you do.
Tomato.
Yeah. You said the
I don't
same
think
thing.
that applies, but yeah,
I mean,
well,
yeah, it's close enough.
yeah.
It gets the point across.
yeah.
Volleys the ball. So that's interesting because I wasn't able to watch. All right, I'll wait my turn.
Oh, yeah. So wait, yeah. So Luke, that was your. I guess that was your initial experience, and you did start with episode 4.
Yes.
Okay.
So for you, it went 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Wait a bit, 3.
No, it was 4, 5, 6, wait a bit, then 1, 2, 3.
Ah,
Oh, they didn't even let you start the
No,
prequels because
they didn't
of
even-
Revenge of the Sith.
Pretty
That's
much,
weird.
yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Your parents
mean-
love movies too. Whatever. We don't have to roast them without them being here.
the only one I can see. I'll get into it later. All right. So
Yeah,
Okay.
to this day, I don't understand. Like, I don't see anything in Revenge of the Sith that's particularly, like... I don't know. Maybe if I'm ever a parent, I'll change my tune. Like, I'll think, oh,
yeah,
I can't protect my child.
I mean, it is upsetting, but it's upsetting because it's sad for me, not because it's that dark.
Yeah.
being around like my younger 2 cousins are like 2 and 3, 2 and 4 right now, and they were not kept away of like anything horror related or anything like spooky or scary or
At
things
2 and 3?
at 2 and 3. They're watching like Michael Myers and horror movies,
Huh.
and they're just entirely desensitized to the whole thing.
Yeah, Shrek is a pretty scary movie. So is Cat in the Hat.
Like there's some things that kids shouldn't see for a while, just so they can understand like object permanence and the value of a life. Because whenever they grow up and all they see in front of them is oh, this guy got his head cut off. This man burns alive. This just happens. Like, that doesn't put weight behind, like, the actions that are happening in front of them. So, I can understand wanting to safeguard that. Because in episode 3, there's children die. The first sequence is up to somebody getting their guillotined, essentially. The ending of the movie is somebody getting cremated alive. So I can understand, not wanting your kid to watch episode 3. I get that part.
But maybe at 13 it is time.
Once your brain can understand the difference between movie reality and, what you do in real life has consequences to it, then you can make the call as a parent. But I think that's the minimum of being able to comprehend your actions. Because when you're 2 and 3, you don't care what you do. Oh, I want the toy. The toy is now mine. I'm going to just punch the kid and take it from him. Like, I'm 3 years old. I want the toy right now.
Why are you describing my day yesterday?
I mean, because I lived it as well. So, like, I don't know. That's my mindset right now. I see what it can do to a kid, and I am happy my parents kind of had the same route as Luke's parents, where I didn't get to watch episode 3 till I was much later down the line.
Yeah, same for me. I think I was 13 as well. Yeah, but my first exposure to Star Wars, I think, was through a T-shirt.
Oh.
We got a Darth Maul T-shirt
Interesting.
from a Goodwill, and I thought liking Star Wars was cool, and I thought Darth Maul's like costume design was cool, so I wore the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Like every day. That was like my going out shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, as you have as a homeschooler, you want to look nice.
Because it's like once a month, and you gotta make it special.
Going to Walmart, Aldi's maybe if we're lucky.
Yeah. Second was like lightsaber toys, I believe.
Those were the bomb.
That was most of our childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. They sell Darksaber ones now.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Those ones look like they hurt.
They simultaneously look like they hurt more and are more fragile.
Yeah.
Like they don't nearly look as well made or sturdy.
They will shatter your bones and shatter itself at the same time.
Yeah.
When I hold a lightsaber, I want some girth. I want them to feel it tomorrow.
I want to leave welts.
And I want to be able to use that same lightsaber tomorrow to leave welts.
Yeah.
Quality.
I think I did hit somebody's leg so hard that it folded the edge of the...
Who was that? Was that Drew? Not your Drew, Big Drew.
No, I wouldn't have hit him that hard. I liked him. I think it was...
You'd have hit me, though.
No.
It wasn't me.
You remember, not Josh, Jake, Luke.
Jake and
I
Josh.
I don't want to say last name to dox. I don't want to dox anybody.
You played Larry Boy and the Bad Apple at his house a lot.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Jake. So I think he and I had frequent disagreements, and that was the result.
I mean, it sounds like you won.
Of course I did. I was also 2 years older, but...
Well, just looking at the facts of you are here and he is not, I think it speaks for itself.
Right.
I only was friends with winners at gym class.
Oh my goodness.
Good times. I remember the first time I got my hands on a lightsaber.
Yeah?
And I don't know if it affected my personality or not, because it was a Sith lightsaber. It was Emperor Palpatine's lightsaber.
Ooh, that's a rare one, too.
Or whatever the equivalent was, whatever they were like $12 toys.
Was it when they just made the same handle but just changed the color of the...
That's probably what it was.
Because I believe...
Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been Qui-Gon Jinn's hilt, but red.
I know mine was red and it was Qui-Gon's hilt.
I think it was Obi-Wan from Menace. I think it was that hilt. That was the common one.
It might have been.
Well, let me look up Qui-Gon's hilt. I forget
It's like
what it
the
looks
black
like.
one with the silver casing around it. The black extends past the red button up to the top, and the top ring is silver.
Oh, I remember this one too. Okay, yeah,
Mm.
this one, Qui-Gon and then Obi-Wan's were very
Yeah.
common. They just switched out the color of the blade.
I remember they brought Mace Windu's in a little bit later.
Oh,
You
That
were
is pretty
the
close.
baddest kid in the
Oh,
gym
so
if you had a rare lightsaber.
it was the only lightsaber hilt that would let you clip it on the right side of your shorts. And that was the only hilt that you could have to dual wield efficiently.
True, true.
It was so cool. The hilt was also thicker and longer, so it didn't fly off as easily. It was so cool. Oh, I wish I was 8 again. Oh my gosh.
We would wreck house.
It was so much fun because I lived out in the middle of the woods. Me and my brother would go out and, just role play with the lightsabers. Oh my gosh. I forgot about this part of my brain of my childhood.
It's so fun, so fun.
So much fun.
I remember
I
getting you.
remember.
Go ahead.
I remember. I always wanted one of like the double the Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Gabe had one.
I didn't get one until I was old enough to buy it myself. And now I have 3. Now I have big boy money.
I remember one year I went to Disney with my grandparents, and they have like the make your own lightsaber stations. And there a year we went, I was finally allowed to do one of those, and I first thing I knew I wanted to do was build a double side.
Yep.
And
Nice.
I think I still have it. Yeah, it's right here.
It's one of the least efficient lightsabers, but it's the coolest to have. Because you got to worry about so much more blade movement. You're so hindered, you can attack to the right or the left. I mean, what are you going to do? Cut yourself in half?
What are you gonna do here? What are you gonna do? You have very limited options here.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the one Gabe was talking about. Trying to find a picture of it. There's one with like a clearly like a part of the blade that's clearly been bent before for like $15 on eBay.
Is it yours? Did Jake take it from you? It's like, yeah, I need to get this out of here. I've been thinking about this every day for the past 13 years. This is not healthy for me.
And then I take it and go hit him with it again.
My favorite memory growing up, me and the rest of my dad's family used to go camping up at Cook's Forest.
Yeah.
My earliest memory is from that place. It's not this
Really?
one, but it's one of my earliest memories is from that campground. But I was about 7 or 8, and my dad has a couple siblings. My dad has 3 siblings. All of them have a couple kids. At the time, I think we had somewhere in the ballpark of like 13 to 14 kids up there. All of them had lightsabers, multiple lightsabers. And so we would have lightsaber wars. And I wish I could see that from the parents' perspective, because you got like 7-on-7. It's the battle of Geonosis, essentially, of
It's
children.
exactly what it is. Yes.
And it was so much fun to be in, a part of. None of us swung full force. We were all there to have fun. And even being like 7, 8, or 9, so we had a few teenagers that we kind of ganged up on a little bit. Sorry, Jake. Wait
Another
a
Jake.
second. Yeah, my big cousin Jake. He's got 2 kids now, and we don't let him live this down. Every time we see him at like a family reunion, we bring up how much we beat him up whenever we were younger.
That's fantastic.
It's such a good relationship to have, bullying people. But it was so much fun. Nothing will ever compare to the times where I'm in a group with other kids my age with lightsabers. Even if not all of them like Star Wars. Even they just have a sword. Cool.
Right.
You're a kid. That's what you're all
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Star Wars is so powerful that the toys are still fun even without knowing the stories.
Yeah, you don't need lore to swing a stick around. Man. All right, let's see what
I
this
think-
link is.
I think my favorite hilt design is the original. It's Anakin and Luke's.
See, I think the Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker hilt is the most iconic.
Right. Yeah, it's just I don't know, there's just something about it, like the knobs and the I don't know what you call them, the fins at the bottom.
Yeah,
It just, I don't know. It's just so much fun to swing, so much fun to look at.
very ergonomic.
Yeah, well, ergonomic in the sense that it felt good, but not in the sense that it was practical.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel
Yeah,
like the
I
most
always-
practical one is Dooku's.
I was gonna bring up
Yep.
Dooku's because that's my favorite.
I could see that. That's a very you choice. I like that.
It's Dooku, and then close second is honestly, I'll give the sequels this, the crossguard saber. I like that design. I do.
Okay.
I think it pays homage to the Crusade in the broadsword design a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it works in Star Wars, but I can respect it.
Yeah. I mean, they're running out of options for new design, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to fault them for trying that one.
Oh, we need something new for this first episode of the prequels. Let's add another little doodad to the other end. Oh, we need another little new lightsaber for the sequels. Let's just add 2 more doodads to the side.
Yeah, I never understood after the first trailer for Force Awakens came out, and pretty much the entire internet was just making fun of the crossguard lightsaber and like how many blades are we gonna add to lightsabers soon. I was like, I think it looks cool. Why are y'all being so mean?
Yeah.
They just didn't have anything else to hate on, so that's what they were going with.
Well,
And
they
then
should
they-
have waited a couple of years.
Yeah,
That
and then the movies
changed
came
very
out,
soon.
and then they had plenty to talk about. So yeah, Scott, what order did you watch everything in?
The correct order. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3,
All right.
7, 8.
All right, that's where you made a mistake all the way up until the very end. It goes. There is not an 8th movie.
Yeah. There's not a 9th one either.
It's weird that it
I'm
goes
still
straight from
iffy about
7 to what's the next 10? Yes. Yeah, it's weird. It's so strange. I don't know how it meanders its way through there.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one here that has watched the movies in the correct order.
What is the correct order, Gabe?
So to get to that answer, we have to go on a little bit of an adventure.
Take us on a journey a long time
We're
ago.
going on a Star Wars watching adventure.
But to get the short answer, it's not yours. So anyway, whenever I was about 5, my dad had this tall tower on the side of the TV case of like all of his CDs, all of his DVDs he's collected over the years, and in there was this little green dude on the side of a case. We didn't legitimately own all the Star Wars movies. Some of them were copied over by my uncle. So we just had a CD in a case with the word Star Wars and then the number of the episode on it. And then we would have printed out like whatever casing we could have found to put into like the DVD case. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so one day I was like looking through it all. I'm like, oh, there's Shrek, whatever else was relevant back in 2005. And I'm like, this guy kind of looks like Kermit. Mom, can I watch this movie? She's like, you gotta wait till your dad gets home to tell you that one. I'm like, oh, okay. And so like I finished my school later that day. My dad comes home. I'm like, Dad, can I watch this movie? Dad, can I watch this movie? He's like, I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. 3 days go by. And he's like, all right, you can watch that movie. And so we put it in. I watched episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Episode 2. Interesting.
And I'm like, this is so cool. I watched that every day for a month. It was such a cool movie. So my first impressions of Star Wars is Count Dooku's the big bad guy. All the good guys have green and blue swords. That's pretty easy to know. And then there's a bunch of machines they got to take out. And I'm like, this is the coolest adventure ever. Like everything else I've watched at that point was just like very basic storylines. And like this is a world that I can delve in. There's history behind this movie because there was that I just didn't know about at the time. And so my dad realized how much I liked episode 2, and he's like, why don't you watch the first movie? I'm like, what do you mean the first movie? He's like, episode 4. I'm like, what do you mean episode 4 is the first movie? And so I watched A New Hope. I'm like, wow, that was really cool. Is there more? He's like, yeah. Here's the other movie we own. I'll have to ask your uncle if he can get us the other copies of it so you can watch the whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I watched episode 2, went over to episode 4, And the next movie I watched was episode 6.
Oh no!
Why 6?
Because it was the only other one we owned at the time. And I'm like,
okay.
that's so cool. Oh, I can't wait to see the other movies. So then we went back and I watched episode 5.
Yeah, great. You get to hear them talking about who Vader is after he's already dropped.
Well, I already
it.
knew. I watched Chicken Little.
So
I
you
already
watched
knew.
Chicken Little?
Yeah,
Oh, that's right,
so
that's
it didn't
right.
really spoil anything. I watched Chicken Little and then I watched episode 6. So like that just was already like, oh, I know who Darth Vader and Luke are. That's boink, right off the dome of the brain. So after my uncle couldn't find episodes 3 or 1 to copy, so legally obtain. I forgot we're on a show. So a few years went by. I was probably like 12 to 14. When did the Game Boy Advance come out?
I don't know.
Oh, heck if I know.
I'm looking this up. Game.
2, 4, 6, 5. Man.
He's gonna say 3-1.
No. All right. So it came out in 2003. I didn't own it until 2008. So I was probably around 7
8
to
or 9.
9 years old.
Yeah.
And we went over to visit my mom's brother, which was in the Air Force, and he was stationed out in Colorado. We took a plane there. My grandmother threw up on me on the process. We landed. Colorado is the most bizarre place on the planet. And I chalk it all up to being Denver's weird because it's like everybody migrated west until they hit mountains and said, nope, we're not dealing with that. And we just settled in the middle of the plains, essentially. So we're there. I have 2 vivid memories from this. That's going to Wendy's. Their playground was sick. And going to this playground outside of town one day. It was really bizarre because there was nothing for like 50 miles. And then there was a playground. And then nothing for 50 more miles. And then there was mountains. It felt like a dream. Like the place where Squidward goes to be all alone. Imagine nothing but grass, and then the sky blocks is mountains. And then you just have a little playground in the middle. That's what it was
That's
like.
like the homeschooler dream.
It was so weird. We're the only car in, like, sight. Like,
In like ham radio distance.
yeah. So we were there. My uncle had episode 1, Phantom Menace. And so I'm like, I haven't seen episode 1. He has it. Can we watch it tonight? So we all watched episode 1. They hated it. I loved it. I finally understood where Anakin came from and like where he was to get there.
Well, we slow you down for a second.
Angel?
Well, yeah, that. But so is your family explaining things to you, or are you
No.
learning everything from the movies?
I'm learning everything from the movies. They have never explained anything Star Wars to me
That's wild.
until the point where I was explaining Star Wars to them. But I don't think many people remember the 2003 animated Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because I watched that before episode 1. So I had all of Anakin's like development and all of Obi-Wan's development down, and I knew Qui-Gon wasn't around anymore for whatever reason. So like the end of episode 1 was kind of spoiled for me, but at the same time it was so cool to see the fight, and it was the first iteration, because it wasn't until the basically end of the saga where I understood there's a person that has a double-bladed lightsaber. Because this is the movie 5 in the 6-movie saga, and then I think it was like 3 more years went by. I'm like, well, I have to watch episode 3 now. Like I was old enough to like understand, like, oh, it goes 1, 2. It can't go 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that doesn't make any sense. That's not how numbers work. So I'm like, Mom, can I watch episode 3? And my mom's like, you got to talk to your dad about that. And I wanted to talk about that, and I'm like, I have to talk to your mom about that. I'm like, okay, fine. Another one of these. It's gonna take a few weeks, and you're gonna get back to me. We're gonna watch it.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. And then a few weeks go by. He's like, there's a lot of stuff that you shouldn't watch in it. You're gonna have to wait till you're older. I'm like, all right, cool. And I went back and I watched Revenge of the Sith. Like I didn't have a problem with that at all. And so I think I was 14, 15 when I watched episode 3, and I'm like, all right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because this was the first movie that I've seen somebody's head get cut off. I've never seen that before in a movie. First time I wasn't allowed at the time to watch Order 66 happen. I was made to go in a different route until it
Really?
was over.
That scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh?
That was the only reason, according to them, I wasn't allowed to watch it.
So this is surprising to me because by 15 you were friends with with both of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was old enough to look up clips from Revenge of the Sith on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, I already watched Obi-Wan and Anakin fight like 30 times. And so, like, getting to watch the beginning of Episode 3 is still one of my more favorite pieces of Star Wars cinema.
That opening Coruscant battle is really well done.
It's one of the first full-scale invasion formats that Star Wars had. Because you don't see the space battle for... There was no space battle for Hoth. There was no space battle, really, for, like, the invasion of Yavin. Because everything was just up there. And you got to see, like, from perspective of two guys. You didn't get to, like, see, oh, a clone dies immediately.
Yeah. You get a little bit in 6 with the space, but it's not
Yeah.
that, like, ship-to-ship combat that's so cool in
No.
3.
You don't get the... You don't... It's... I feel like it's more realistic, and it's more terrifying. Because the enemy you're fighting can be out in space without any protection.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the buzzsaw droids are one of my most feared things in Star Wars.
They are creepy for some reason. I think Lucas intended them to be kind of like comedic, but it's kind of upsetting that they can just like rip your only safety apart in front of you and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Shoot it? You
Like,
can't do that.
They straight up, like, the first thing you see them do is, like, cannibalize an R2 unit.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of unsettling.
There's so many things in Episode 3 I wouldn't let a kid watch until they're at least 8. It's terrifying.
It's a good age.
But yeah, and then after that I watched Episode 3, and then 7, 8, 9 came out whenever I was alive, and then yeah. Yeah, that's my story of my 2, 4, 6, 5.
1, 3.
Yeah, and that's the correct way to watch Star Wars.
So you watched all the even-numbered ones first, then the odd numbers. I'm just now realizing.
Wow, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Very, very strange way to go about it, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I still don't know if we own Episode 3 legally.
Well, so are you actually willing to defend that order?
No.
Okay. Because I'm wondering, like, 'cause
Um,
Luke was talking about that quote. It's poetry because it rhymes. That I'm wondering if there's something to that because, you know, it's still connected with you, even though, like, you were in some ways, I'm sure you were lost about what was happening.
I was for a little bit, but I've watched the amount of times I've watched each movie probably outweighs the amount of square footage on the sun.
That makes no sense.
What do you mean it doesn't
But I
make any
understood it.
sense? How much square footage is on the sun? Take that number. That's how much I've watched Star Wars.
All right, whatever.
2 and 2 makes 1, and 1 and 1 makes 3. Something about destiny. Anyway, so like, I don't know. Maybe that's a solid question. Because like I started off already seeing my favorite Star Wars character in the first movie dozens of times before I knew there was an Episode 4.
Who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Count Dooku.
I didn't know that. I thought it was Anakin.
Very strange answer, isn't it?
Yeah. Back in the day, it was Anakin. And we would
Oh, yeah.
argue who was better, Anakin or Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Well, my guy had plot development and character.
Yeah, but mine was a good guy.
I
He was
a
wiser.
Yoda fan.
Were you actually?
I was a Yoda fan, yeah.
Now that I'm older, I like Yoda more than Mace Windu.
Huh.
But back then, I liked Mace way more than Yoda.
Why Yoda?
Mace-
This is
because
like
he
in
was-
the popcorn jelly bean area
was
for your
like-
personality.
Because he was like the iconic one for me. He was the one that I saw everywhere.
That is true.
That's fair.
And he was like the one, I remember when I first played Lego Star Wars 2.
Yeah.
Yoda was always the character I was excited to play as.
He was the only like actual unique one.
Uh-huh.
I had the complete saga where he didn't have the floaty thing and was slow as crap.
Yeah.
Happens, you know. It's old age. It gets to you.
Yeah, they just, that's what kind of disappointed me about Complete Sagas. They just kind of took Lego Star Wars 2 Yoda and just made that the default.
Yeah.
even in the levels where he really wasn't designed to be that way.
Yeah. Say the first version of Yoda, Lego Yoda, was way more applicable for role playing,
Uh-huh.
and that's why he's my favorite.
Mm.
He felt more realistic as a Lego minifig.
Yeah, like his default move was just hopping around.
Yeah. Which I mean is accurate to the film a little bit, but like it was the only efficient way to move him around, which was just not realistic.
Can we talk about how perfectly the Lego games extended the universe of Star Wars?
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was like I've probably played more of those games than I've watched the movies.
That's a solid.
Yeah.
I don't know about me, cause I sped run Complete Saga for a while,
Yeah.
so I don't know which one outweighs which anymore. 'Cause I watched a
Just-
lot of Star Wars when I was young.
Yeah. I don't know, just everything about the games, just even down to the sound effects. Like, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
so satisfying when you collected a mini kit.
Yeah, the blue studs when you'd pick them up.
Oh,
It,
the purple studs.
it would itch that specific part of your brain.
It's just all the dopamine.
Yeah.
I remember being confused the first time, like when I beat the story mode entirely and I was going back for mini kits. I didn't understand the character cycle function. I thought you were just stuck as the character.
Oh no!
So I was playing through the first level and I got to the bit where you have to like unlock the shield as R2-D2, but R2 wasn't there. So I was like, what the heck? How am I supposed to get on? And like, I think like eventually like one day I just started like mashing all the buttons and then I just by chance hit R1 and it switched. I straight up went, wow.
I recoiled.
Oh my gosh!
So R1 is the special button that makes Yoda into a droidica. I will remember this for later.
All right, I really want to talk about this. So, you know the speed rounds for all the levels?
Yeah.
Where is the
Oh.
10th blue mini kit for the Droid Factory Geonosis level?
I mean,
See, I don't know. I never owned Complete Saga.
I could tell you if I knew which the other 9 were.
Yeah, that's
Is that
true.
that's a category in the Complete Saga speedruns. So I learned the route for it, but I just haven't done it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Drew and I, my brother, were trying to 100% that game, and we were just like 99.8% completed for like a year. And just going over that level over and over and over again, just like, where is this 10th one? And I didn't know that like walkthroughs existed, so we were just stuck. That was it.
You had really bad. That's the second Lego game I've heard you talk about where like you couldn't get the 100% and we're like right there.
Second game?
Cause didn't your copy of Lego Batman 2 like glitch?
Or is it 3?
Where like you got all the no, it was 2. Where like you got all the stuff, but it didn't register you as being 100%.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we never got the character, so that was the only time I used a cheat code, I think, was with the character.
Huh.
To get the character.
Yeah, and if I remember right, the 100% character in that game is not worth it.
I think I remember having this conversation because you were the one who gave me the cheat code.
Yeah. I
Oh,
genuinely
yeah.
cannot off the top of my head remember who it was, but
I
it's
think
like
it's a girl.
I think it's Supergirl actually.
Yeah, I think it's Supergirl.
That makes
Yeah, it's
that
not
sounds
worth
right.
it.
That's a very bizarre statement to make. I forgot this is the era of, hey, my friend has the internet. Can I get them to get me a cheat code? I forgot all about this era.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, we had the internet, but I wasn't allowed to do much, so I never did.
I remember playing baseball. This is entirely unrelated to Star Wars, but I remember playing baseball with this guy named Colton. And there was one day he introduced me to this little flash game. I can't remember what it was called, but I played that immensely after school every day. And I was telling him
What
stories
site was
about
it on?
It was probably just on Congregate.com.
Congregate Armor Games. Yeah.
It was one of those, maybe Addicting Games.
Okay.
But it was just like this 2D side scroller fighter game. You could pick up handguns and shoot them, whatever. I was telling him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, have you tried any of the cheat codes out yet?" And I'm like, "What do you mean cheat codes? What's a cheat code?" He's like, "Oh, there's these sequence of letters and characters you put into the game, and you can unlock like a rocket launcher in like level 1. I'm like, "No way." He's like, "Yeah, come to next practice. I have something for you." And I'm like, "No way." And so I went home and I couldn't sleep that night. And then the next day I had trouble sleeping as well. And then the day after that, I went back to baseball practice, and I'm like, "Colton, what do you have?" And he hands
You got the
me
stuff.
this small notebook filled with cheat codes to that game, and I'm like, "This is the Bible." It was like 20 pages of just code after code after code and what they did. Invincibility, unlimited ammo, enemies run away, enemies heads big, guns big, rocket launcher, shotgun, characters you could unlock, skins you could unlock. I'm like, this is so cool. And games don't do that anymore, and it makes me kind of sad.
Do they not?
Most
I guess
of them
they don't.
No.
Yeah.
Cheat codes, not really. No, I remember. Man, here's what takes me back. Do you remember when the first Lego Batman game came out and they had the Happy Meal tie-in at McDonald's?
Oh, yeah.
And all the toys had cheat codes for extra
don't
characters
remember
Oh,
that.
on them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think I still have those toys in my little toy box. I felt like a child saying that.
It's okay. We are talking about Star Wars, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Well, whatever.
kinda...
Whoa! What do you mean? Hang on, take that back. Star Wars is a man's game.
I mean, we could still appreciate it for sure as adults, but I
Don't try to
feel like-
sugarcoat it.
I feel like George Lucas wrote it for children.
No, he just doesn't know how to write dialogue. That's where Dave Filoni prospers. He's filling in the gaps.
He's from Pittsburgh.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yes. I don't know why he wears a cowboy hat, but he is from Pittsburgh.
It's
I
also from Pittsburgh.
I think there's just
Fair.
this might be a little bit change of subject, but I think there's a severe lack of media for the Galactic Civil War. Because that's like 9 years of Star Wars history that only really have 3 movies. Meanwhile,
What classifies as that?
the Clone Wars lasted 3 years. And like from the conception of the clone army from Dooku and Palpatine to enacting them on Geonosis, that's the beginning of it. And the ending being like the mission to Mustafar and the Battle of Utapau in episode 3. That's 3 years. That's all that time for the Clone Wars movie, Bad Batch 1 and 2 technically. Episode 1, 2, and 3. And then all the other miniseries in between, like the origin of like Ahsoka and, that. Like all of that media is condensed to 3 years Star Wars, which is like half of what exists for the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And then what do we have for the Galactic Civil War? We have A New Hope, we have Revenge of the Sith, we have Return of the Jedi, and then
We have
move
Rebels.
on. We have Rebels.
Andor now. Rogue
Oh yeah,
One.
Andor's technically in Rogue One. Yeah. And Solo movie. So I
Wait,
guess they
when
are
will-
filling the gap. Yeah.
When does Mandalorian take place? Oh, that's after.
That's after
Yeah,
after
Aftermath.
6.
Which
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
what they're doing there is amazing.
I definitely I can see where the pieces are coming from with Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They definitely have quite a bit of work on their hands still to go,
Oh, for sure.
and there's a lot that they'll have to leave just so nobody ends up, because I already know people are doing this, just so nobody goes like, well, where was Mando and Grogu during the events of the sequels?
They don't need to exist.
And
They're
I'm
not,
like off being in better projects.
they don't need to be. Not everybody that's force sensitive needs to be in a major movie of Star Wars. But they are. I like what they're doing with Mando's series because they're showing how weak the New Republic is to fall. How long did they live? 29 years. The New Republic lasted a whopping almost as old as I am. And then again, the Empire was pretty close to it because they lasted. What was this? I have this written down here just so I don't have to redo the math. 26 years. The Empire lasted 26 whopping years before it fell.
Huh.
Meanwhile, the Old Republic lasted 24,000 years, and then it went into being the High Republic for 400 more years, and then where Phantom Menace's Republic comes from lasted about 80, 81 years, and then it became the Empire, which then dissolved.
I've noticed a speeding up of the governmental process here. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't think they have to tell the story the way that they are because of they have an end point they need to get to, and they're on a time schedule for it. Because they're 4 years before the end of the New Republic, so they have to tell that story somehow. Or they're 4 years before like the rise of the First Order or something like that. I can't remember which it is. In third season of Mando.
Right.
Okay. So I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you try to force pull a toy lightsaber into your hand?
Today?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm still trying.
Like since this episode started? Like twice?
I always felt like bad about myself when I tried it because like, oh, I know it's fake and it's not possible. Then I would look at it for a second and then do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know how convenient it would be to be a Jedi?
Yeah.
I
I
could
mean,
get
a lot of them die, but
I could get. Yeah, it's another perk. I could get a drink right now if I wanted to, and I didn't have to get up.
I don't think the question is how convenient would it be to be a Jedi. I think the question is how convenient would it be to be Force sensitive. Because being a Jedi, let's be
Kinda
honest, we
sucks.
kind of suck.
Yeah.
lots of politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the while them saying, we're not political figures.
I mean, they're
We're
keepers
not
of the peace.
soldiers. Then why do you have laser swords?
'Cause you would too if you could.
No, I'm saying, but like, yes, absolutely. But I'm saying, like, they're talking like, yeah, we can't fight in this
Oh, yeah.
war. We're not soldiers. And it's like, then why do you have laser swords?
General Skywalker. Or
We
under
are keepers
attack.
of the peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wish, because I watched episode 2 more than any other episode, and so like I have
Interesting.
so many core memories of watching it and then learning what it meant later. Like whenever Count Dooku like goes up to talk to Obi-Wan, he has such a huge impression that this is just Qui-Gon but younger and a different person. He has the same ideologies. I can see it in him. I can sense it in him. He will turn to my side, and then he has the conversation with him. Join me. And then Obi-Wan says, I'll never join you. And he's like, no, no, no.
I feel like you're mixed. Whatever.
No, it's like this internal monologue.
Yeah.
Like it's just moments like that in episode 2 that make me like, there's so much story that hasn't been told yet between these two people, because this is the first time they've seen each other. Is a prisoner and a prison guard mentality.
True.
Officially in the movies, they've seen each other plenty of times before that, like in canon. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
or maybe they didn't.
I'm trying to remember which movie I've watched the most. Luke, do you know which one you watched?
Oh man.
Because my first thought was,
5.
well, 4 or 5 because they're my favorites.
Yeah.
But then I think back and I remember we had a family reunion at my house, and before everyone got there, I remember I watched The Phantom Menace, And then when a few of my cousins got there, we watched it again the whole way through.
Yeah.
And then when more of my cousins got there, we watched it again the whole way through.
It's a good movie. It's not great, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be surprised how many times I've seen 1 and 2, even though in some ways they're the weakest ones.
They're the weakest in story, but they're fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't deny it. Just like the design of the world is just so cool. I still
Yeah.
have not gotten over how cool the clone helmets are in both 2 and 3.
I
Yeah.
think the shark fin's the coolest, but it's also the chin area is such a hindrance to the helmet design.
Well, you actually had one, so you would know.
Yeah. I don't have like phase 2 helmet, but I have the phase 1 helmet.
Yeah.
The way the phase 2 like curves around your shoulders helps immensely.
Yeah, but it made playing with the Legos annoying because
Yeah.
when you wanted them to look around, the helmet kept like bumping upwards and
Yeah, it hits your shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
In real life, entirely fine. Legos sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I have.
know.
I there's so many things Star Wars wise that I could bring up, and we could talk about for like an hour.
I'm feeling like
But-
you have a little bit of sensory overload. Like you could just go so many different directions.
That's because there's so much to Star Wars. There's so much not told about Star Wars too.
Oh?
Well, everything with Darth Plagueis and Sidious.
Yeah. Actually, that's gonna be told I think next year.
Oh?
There's a series coming out 100 years before Phantom Menace, which would be Darth Plagueis and his master probably finding Palpatine, Sheev Palpatine. Because Sheev will be 8 years old if that's an exact year. If it's a little bit less, he'll be a little bit older. But if you're force sensitive, you know it whenever you're a kid. And if you're that force sensitive as Palpatine, you know that whenever you're young. So it might be them discovering Palpatine. It might not be. Either way, they said that there's going to be a show that comes out 100 years prior to Phantom Menace, which I think could be cool. I'm excited for it. But they have that's all they said about it so far. It's very early development. But we'll see how well this dates come next Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I just finished reading the Darth Plagueis book,
Yeah.
and
Which I don't know
anybody-
how canon it is.
I don't know. I don't think it's canon at all, but they pay a lot of homage to that book specifically in Episode 9. That I appreciate it. It doesn't save the movie, but I appreciate it. Because that's where the original concept, at least to my knowledge, the original concept of when the apprentice strikes down the master, they inherit all the knowledge the master had.
What?
Yeah,
Like just like absorbing studs after a Lego kill?
kind of. Yeah, because it's
That's silly.
it's
That was a thing, really?
whenever their spirit releases into the cosmic force, you're a Sith. You're there to abuse the cosmic force. Why wouldn't you just do that?
Well, wait.
I don't
Wouldn't
think I like
the
that.
wouldn't the apprentice already have most of the knowledge if
Yeah.
he has access to the cosmic force?
No,
Like, why not?
because the cosmic force isn't coherent.
Then how does anybody use it?
I don't know. They don't even explain that in the Clone Wars, whatever they could have. They leave it ambiguous for a reason.
See, this is why I don't like extended universe stuff. Or
Yeah,
even
I'm not gonna lie, I typically like the extended universe stuff. That's a dumb idea.
Well, it's canon now, so it's not extended universe.
okay, this is why I usually don't like stuff outside of Lucas's original 6.
Yeah. I think it's a dumb idea, but at the same time, I mean, you take all of Star Wars, or you take none of Star Wars. Like,
I
have
also
nothing-
hate. Go ahead, Luke.
I was gonna say I have nothing against that being like something that a Sith could do, like through either a ritual or some like extra force ability, but just making that the default thing that happens, that doesn't sit well with
I
me.
assume it has to do something extra on top of it because there's no way if just a Sith kills another Sith, it happens. Because, I mean, it would have
The
happened
entire
way.
Old Republic would just be
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. So that can't be it. It has to do something with the rule of two to enact it. But like going down the line, like I think it would be so cool to see a series where they talk about Darth Bane and his whole story and hearing like the foundation of the rule of two, because that could be how they explain something like that. You don't like something about Star Wars, there's eventually there will be more Star Wars to explain it. If you don't like part of Star Wars, you haven't watched enough Star Wars.
I don't like that rationale.
Well, then it's okay to be wrong. It's fine. Everybody's wrong sometimes.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Like every time I go to like criticize the sequel trilogy, I flash back to all of the people that grew up with the original trilogy, hated the prequels, and then watched Clone Wars and now like the prequels.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Every time I hate something about the sequels, it's pretty akin to why people hated the prequels. Like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. The dialogue's bad here. There's no weight or emotion to these fight scenes. They're just fight scenes. And then you flash back to like a few interactions, like the battle between Anakin and Count Dooku in Episode 3. There was history behind it we didn't know, but we didn't know how much history. Those people were in prison together at some point. They had to work together. They had to make a bond with each other over the years. They've had countless duels beforehand. They know each other immensely. And Dooku was afraid in Episode 3. It adds so much more weight to it. And then looking forward back at like Episode 7, where Rey's doing X, Y, or Z, or Finn's doing X, Y, or Z against Kylo, and it doesn't make any sense. I'm waiting for something to make it make sense.
So let me ask both of you, do you think all of these like Band-Aid stories, I guess I'll call them, that like fix things from the main stories, do you think that is proof of the main stories being lacking? Because I kind of do.
100%.
Yeah. So your argument that one who doesn't like something about Star Wars just hasn't seen enough, I think I disagree, because if you can't fit it into the story, then it means you're writing it poorly.
Maybe.
I don't know. Again, the prequels for me aren't so much about the story as much as the visuals and the nostalgia.
The sequels didn't have enough politics in it.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, like, all right, so the original Star Wars was space Nazis. We got to fight against the space Nazis because it was relevant kind of at the time.
No.
Because it was only what 50 years prior.
Still 30 years out.
Yeah, it was pretty
Closer
decently
to 20,
relevant.
but yeah.
It would have been
I guess 30.
about as relevant as 9/11 is to the people that are being born now. So whenever they get like 25 or whatever, that's where it'd be at. Whatever.
Where is Star Wars 9/11?
Whenever
The Death Star.
What? Yeah, no, we're not going there. So, so whatever the
Mr. President,
prequels,
there's been a second X-wing.
Oh no.
the prequels came out, they were filled with politics because the world was filled with politics. There's comparisons to it. The sequels come out and do nothing with the regular IRL. I think that's where they fall short. Give me my space Nazis.
Were you expecting the Tusken Raiders to form a Star Wars Al-Qaeda? Like, what?
We don't know. More Star Wars. That might gonna happen.
Yeah, so part of what you're saying there, I think that's pretty interesting because, yeah, the original trilogy, it was kind of based on the Nazis, and the prequels, at least when you're thinking about the Clone Wars, the show, they took a lot of inspiration off of Vietnam, I believe. Just like the ambiguity of who's the good guy, who's not. Are we just going over there? Like, are we just meat soldiers, just like worthless? What is the whole point of this? That type of ambiguity, I think they tried to work in there.
Yeah.
But you're saying the sequels didn't really try to insert real world elements into the story. They just kind of copied off of Star Wars itself. Because you do have Admiral Hux or whatever, he's kind of Nazi like.
Yeah. A little bit. Like it's just
and he stayed that way, and nothing else was ever done with his character again, and we don't talk about it.
yeah.
There was nothing to do with it because the sequels suck.
He should have been a Tarkin. That's the character he should have been.
What, die in the first movie?
Oh.
No, I think he means actually be related to Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, obviously. That's what they did with every other character. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot they could have done. There's a lot they didn't do. And hopefully there's a lot they're going to explain. Like the Resistance series, very drawn towards kids, but there's still lore stuff in there that's pretty fun to watch. I would not recommend it to either of you because I know you won't like it. But it's one of those shows that I just put on in the background and I'll like glance over at it and I'll listen to it. I have watched because I'm at the point where I've watched everything Star Wars at least once, so I'm going to keep that going, regardless of what it is or how bad it might be. But they need to give Dave Filoni the keys to the city. That's my statement. It's not even a controversial one.
He would improve it. I don't know if he'd improve it enough that I would return, but
I mean,
he would improve it.
He's done Bad Batch seasons 1 and 2. I think he's doing Mando now, at least a little bit.
He's at least involved on Mando, and he was somewhat. I think was he somewhat involved in Book of Boba Fett or who?
Yeah, he was a little bit. The more they're
I thought he was
introduced,
involved the whole way through.
no, he wasn't for the movies. All the TV series, I think he's at least a small hand in.
All scenes of Mando and Boba.
Oh, possibly.
I thought he was.
John Favreau is the one who actually makes Mandalorian, but I know Filoni is heavily involved.
Okay.
Yeah. I've listened to a lot of interviews the last few days from like Dave Filoni, Favreau, and I don't remember what the guy's name that created Smallville. It was like Sam Witwer or something like that.
Sam Witwer.
Witwer, yeah. I've listened to him rant about how much he appreciates George Lucas, and I love that man so much more. He went on a 6-minute escapade it was like last year at like some expo, about how much he adored George Lucas and how much he did for the industry, and he talked about it ad nauseum. He felt like a kid in a candy store when he was talking about it.
Sam Witwer. Oh yeah, Sam Witwer is an absolute joy to watch. I love him.
Gosh. Like his appreciation for the original media, how it was formed, how it was made, what weight it carried emotionally, physically to the stories, gave me a lot of confidence in him being involved in Star Wars. Yeah. I'm realizing it feels like this episode's been only going on for like 10 minutes to me.
Actually, same for me, but
That's kind of what I figured was going to happen when you suggested we do this, Scott. I figured this was going to be like one that like no one was really going to have to try. I figured as soon as one topic came up, the rest was just going to flow flawlessly.
Yeah, same here.
What is a series they haven't done yet that you want to see?
Luke, you start.
Oh man, okay. I know, Gabe. We were talking about the Count Dooku.
A little bit.
So like a Count Dooku series, either about like creating the CIS, which still sounds wrong, but
I mean, he did. All right, what part about that sounds wrong?
The CIS part. I keep mixing it up with CSI, and it's like.
Oh, okay, yeah. The Confederation of Independent Systems.
Yeah. So, like, that would be one. I did want a Boba Fett show. Then I got one. Now I wish I didn't.
Well, it wasn't really a Boba Fett show. It was just kind of like a show that Boba Fett was in.
Yeah.
It explained one thing, and then it gave up. Maybe it did too. He got his armor back, and then he also showed
why. He got his armor back in Mandalorian.
Did he? Oh,
yes.
Never mind. It showed one thing, and I was like, yep, that's about it.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Like, he followed He followed Mando in the
Yeah.
Slave One. It's like one of my favorite episodes of season 2.
Oh, so that was season 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole time I've been combining the end of season 2 with the Book of Boba Fett
Oh, no.
because they came out roughly the same time and they're just the same story. It's just same characters, not a whole lot of difference there. Yeah. So when I was younger, I always
Old
wanted
Republic show.
an Old Republic show would kill, for me at least.
That's it. Final answer for me.
So when I was younger,
Sorry, I cut you off.
I really wanted a Darth Maul series. And then we technically got one.
Yeah, that's
Just
pretty much most of Clone Wars and a bit of Rebels, even.
and it's good. I enjoyed the Chronicles of Darth Maul. Because it's the only way they could have told that story and make it work.
Yeah.
The ending by far was phenomenal.
I am honestly a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see a live-action version of the final Maul Obi-Wan battle in Kenobi.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
at the same time, like, it and Rebels are both canon, so, like, retreading ground that's already been established in the universe
Yeah.
would've... I can see why they didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an emotional scene. Yeah, Scott, do you have like a series or a story you would want told?
Oh, wait, never mind. I do have one more thing, but go ahead.
Like how Han Solo made the Kessel Run in 6.5 parsecs or whatever it was, 9.5.
No, because I'm just gonna miss Harrison Ford the whole time.
He's not dead.
Yeah,
But he's not playing the character
What if
anymore.
it's-
He hates the character.
What if it's animated?
Oh,
I mean,
still no, because it wouldn't be Harrison Ford.
Mark Hamill can do Harrison Ford. Like that's a voice he has on lockdown.
It is pretty close. Nah, I don't know. So, the appeal, one of the appeals of Star Wars to me, is the return to simple storytelling. Like there's a sorcerer who's keeping a princess locked away in a weird edifice.
Are you talking about farce?
No, I'm talking about A New Hope. That's how they describe it in the advertising. From if you look at this, like the 70s and 80s advertising, they call Darth Vader a sorcerer.
Well, like
They
how
lock
else
a
do
princess
you,
in a tower. What?
how else would you advertise that back then? There's nothing else like Star Wars back then.
Well, there's that, but also it's speaking to something more universal than all the kind of, I guess, diverse storytelling that we get now. So I want them to return to, there's a good guy, he goes out into the world, learns about himself, and gets the girl, kills the bad guy, and comes back. I miss that type of simplicity that A New Hope did in such a unique way at the time. So
So you'd rather they go back to classic archetypes, kind of.
Archetype is the exact word. Joseph Campbell was a writer who did a lot. No one's going to care about this, but he based a lot of his writing about Jungian psychology and those archetypes.
Yeah.
And Joseph Campbell is the one who created the hero's journey story plot line. He laid that out. And Lucas, in the 70s, was a huge fan of Joseph Campbell. He was fascinated by those writings. And so Star Wars is a direct product of those ideas. And anyway, I want to return to that. And so if I did want a different take on an existing character, I would want them to use that, I think. But I don't know how I would do it exactly. Who would I be curious about? Not Chewbacca.
What do you mean? Was Star Wars Christmas not enticing to you?
That's the best Star Wars. Maybe an off-the-wall character, because you can do whatever you want with them. Like one of the background characters of the council that hasn't been touched.
I thought
I
you were
would
gonna
like
say,
Like,
what's the guy's name? Hang on, I'm
like
gonna look it up.
Yarael Poof.
Like the guy with the long neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew exactly who I was talking about. That's
I'm a Star Wars
amazing.
fan. Also, I've seen the robot chicken bit
Yeah.
with him.
I am one of only 12 Jedi in the world and on the council, but yes, I will go and pick up the pizza.
What's the guy's Wedge? I think like the
Oh.
Wedge type characters where they don't have a lot of screen time.
Who's related to Ewan McGregor in real life, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
They
They did not have Mon Calamari because apparently Mon Calamari is people.
Maybe. What would they? I
mean,
don't know.
it doesn't have to involve Luke Skywalker. It could just be him, how he found the rebellion. Like, that'd be a neat story. Like, how does he know how to work on land speeders and work on the tow cables and all this
I don't know.
technology he's never touched before or existed 10 years prior?
Well, I would be keeping in mind the whole time as I'm watching that
He gets
kind of
stepped on.
Well, he's in Luke's shadow the whole time after,
Well, that's just what we get to see. I mean, to everyone else, he's just another rebel pilot.
Yeah, nah. So I would want to see, I don't know which character. Like, the Jedis have already been kind of explored.
Do you want to see Ki-Adi-Mundi and his 17 wives or whatever he had?
Does he have 17 wives?
I can't remember. It was a number that was higher than 3.
and that is too many. I don't know, like Plo Koon,
He had 7
Ki-Adi-Mundi,
wives. All right.
Shakti even.
Shakti would be
Oh,
fun.
I bet you want to see a Shakti.
Her lore's a
Or
little.
Ayla Secura.
Yeah.
No.
No, that one.
No. I'm not into the hair.
What do you mean?
Oh.
All right, whatever. You can be wrong. It's
saw-
okay to be wrong.
I didn't watch this, but I laughed about. I saw a video titled like "The Noble Reason That Ayla Secura Was Scantily Clad During the Clone Wars." And I was
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I was like, yeah,
It's probably the same reason that Princess Leia was stuck in a bikini in Episode 6. I'm not complaining either way. Whatever means
helps
it
them
takes to
think
get
better.
there. Yeah, there's no bras in space. Yeah, so he had 7 wives. I don't know if that's canon or not, but I'd like to think it is.
It really makes the council seem like bigger prudes for not letting Anakin have any attachments like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have 7 wives, I don't think you care about them as much as you think you do, because you have more than one. So, I mean, it's
You're
probably
not
the
wrong.
same vibe.
Okay, so
So I don't have an answer, I guess.
polygamy is the answer to the Jedi.
Well, you're not allowed attachments. That doesn't mean like you can't get. Well, I mean, back then it didn't mean you couldn't get. You know, marriage doesn't always equal love.
What the heck?
I'm speaking the truth. Don't boo. Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Did you
Why are
see
you booing? I'm right.
Lucas said something about like no attachments does not mean celibacy.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like you. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
Star
like
Wars
the
hookup culture.
like male and
Yeah.
female psyche is a little bit different, so that might apply to one side more than the other. But like at the same time, it's true. All I'm gonna say is Yoda
goodness.
could be a dad. We don't know. Who's Grogu's dad?
Yeah,
I ponder you that.
I have seen quite a few memes about like Yoda staring at Yaddle and being like, "Not mine, the baby is."
Yeah. And you are not the father. He starts spinning around like he's fighting Dooku. Yeah. I hope. So one thing that I've always wanted in Star
Yeah.
Wars is to see Steve Harvey at some capacity. I don't care what they make him do. Just put him in a Star Wars film. Piece of media.
Well,
Background
I guess if
character.
you've already had Bill Burr, why not Steve Harvey?
I feel like that's the next. I want Mr. Potato Head vibes in Star Wars. What the heck? What do you mean? What the heck? You know what I'm talking about? Look it up. It's on Google. Mr.
I know his head looks like Mr. Potato Head.
It's because he's black. You racist.
No one was saying that. No.
I
Well,
am.
you chose pass with black, so I feel like
Anyway,
in the
that's
last
not
episode.
important. Yeah, that's the one thing I want in Star Wars. Steve Harvey. I don't care what story they tell. Just put Steve Harvey in it. Young Mace. There. I don't think that would work, but
No.
You know,
yeah.
young Mace. Yeah, maybe.
People not on the council for 200. Oh wait, that's Jeopardy. Who is Anakin Skywalker? Man, I don't know enough game shows to make fun of Steve Harvey. Such a likable man. This has been a long episode,
This is yeah.
and I could easily go for another 3 hours. Should we just start a Star Wars podcast separate to this one? There has to be other. I haven't never looked up a Star Wars podcast before, and I
I'm
feel like I should.
I'm sure there's so many.
I'm pretty
There's
sure
gotta
Star
be.
Wars Theory has a podcast.
Yeah. Because there's so many cool like stories that nobody knows about in like legends that make a lot of sense. Not all legends are good, but like the story of Thrawn is one that nobody casually knows about.
Yeah.
Or like this comic book series of Vader Down, or like whenever Luke has to fight his evil clone that Sidious made as an attempt to like produce Snoke. Like that's a cool storyline to go down. Seeing Darth Vader put his palm out in a space battle and stop ion torpedoes and send them back, fabulous idea. There's so many comics that I wish were realized, but just aren't.
I still kind of wish Unleashed was canon.
Yeah. That is the first video game I ever beat on the hardest difficulty. And it was hard. I broke 2 controllers finishing that game, but whenever I finally beat Emperor Palpatine in the final fight, pure ecstasy. The next week could not have been ruined by anything tangible in this world. I was on cloud 9 for 7 straight days.
Huh. You know,
Your
feelings
for her are not real. They are real to me!
yeah. Okay.
Me talking about my anime body pillow.
What do you mean anime? Hang on. I might make a purchase live on the pod. Is there a Princess Leia body pillow?
Of course there is!
I want a
right, I'm-
Palpatine body pillow.
This is going to be the first purchase I make. This is definitely going to be the first purchase I make live on the show. Yeah. How much is this?
Don't.
Nope, this is mine now. Yep.
Oh, gross.
What do you mean gross?
It's just gross.
Says you. You're just jealous because you don't have one.
You don't either.
What do you? I will. Venmo me $40 and you can get one too.
Do you remember that motion game, Gabe?
The Wuppo?
Oh,
No.
it was in the little training droid, the camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The plug and play.
I played the crap out of that when you left it at my
Oh my
house.
gosh, it's so much fun.
I
So
remember-
frustrating though.
Oh yeah.
I
it was.
remember I brought it in. I think somebody let me take it to my house at one point, and I played a little bit, and then I came back at mom's, and we were fighting Jango Fett, and I blocked the fire, and everyone
Oh
was
my
like, "How'd you do
gosh.
that?"
Oh my gosh.
I might. Yeah. How
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
you
like-
do that?
You just hold it. You just held the lightsaber parallel to where the fire was going, and it blocks it.
Huh.
I forgot about the whole exchanging plug and plays part of gym class.
Yeah, man, that was a whole different economy
Oh my
back then.
gosh, there was like trading cards that you just go and like, oh, you got the Darth Vader plug and play. I'll give you the lightsaber training one, and then whenever you beat that, we'll trade back, and then
I got the
we'll.
better deal.
What, you got Frogger? No way. You got
No.
SpongeBob Frogger? No
You were
way.
describing an actual deal you and I made. I
Yeah,
gave you the
yeah.
Darth Vader plug and play.
Dude, I still have that. I never
Do
gave
you?
it back. There's so many, there's like 6 or 7 games on that plug and play. So, all right. So for anybody under the age of 30, a plug and play is a battery operated game systems basically that has one wire out of the back of a controller that you have a yellow plug and sometimes both channels of audio, white and red. Sometimes it was just one, white.
Sometimes just
Most
white.
times it was just white. And you would plug that into the front of your CRT TV. They were
Or
color
VCR,
coded.
depending.
Yeah, or VCR. Well, however you get it to the TV, you know. Some VCRs had a way to like bypass like the VCR system, and it would just whatever you plugged into the front of it would go to the TV.
Right.
That way you didn't have to worry about unplugging cables and stuff.
That's what we had.
And for those of you who don't know what a VCR is, Google it.
Screw you. Oh yeah. Okay.
You're too young.
You're the same person that doesn't know what dial-up is or a rotary phone. Educate yourself, please. Or what? So do both of you know what the yellow pages are?
Yes.
What? Are
Do
you
you?
kidding?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Of
Wait,
course.
All right.
Okay.
You're the first 2 people my age I've asked that question, and you have said yes.
Well, we're homeschooled.
Yeah, we had to know things.
We-
So anyway,
we
so
get-
that
we
plug and
get
play
one on our lawn every like couple of months.
still.
Oh.
No, not still. We
Okay.
used to.
Yeah. I think we got one like it was like bi-yearly, like 2000 to 2012-ish or something like that. But anyway, plug and play, it's just, instead of a cable that you plug into a game system, it's a cable you plug straight into the TV. It's like if the back of your PS4 controller had all your PS4 games on it, or some of them, I don't know, and you just plugged it into the HDMI port and played it that way.
Yeah. Look up the JonTron Starcade. That'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a whole video just on. Doesn't he have a whole video just on plug and plays in general?
Well, yeah, but not
Or is
Star
that
Wars.
that's the bootleg video?
Oh, that might be.
It might be.
Man, I still have. That's what I started my little cousins on playing. Was your Darth Vader plug and play?
I think I just gave it to you. You didn't steal it.
I mean, maybe. We'll go with that. It sounds more legal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was his introduction to Star Wars. So like, we're gonna see where this goes. But I have been debating whether or not I should introduce him to Star Wars the same way I was introduced to Star Wars.
246513.
Episode 2 for 3 years, and then you can watch episode 4 for a year, and then episode 6 will be introduced after like a
you're
few
not
months.
ready, Hunter.
Punch him in the gut. Take episode 5 out of his hands. You're watching this one. Does it have Michael Myers in it? No, this one's better. Yeah, Star Wars is wild. Star Wars be whack, but sometimes not as whack.
Obi-Wan sure got whack.
Truth.
In episode 4. Good joke.
Oh, I wanted to. Okay, hang on. I wanted to ask this real quick because Scott gave me a hard time about this take. I want to see how you.
What? I don't give people.
You'll know when I
hard
say that. You'll know when I say this. I want to see how you feel about this game. So,
Alright.
purely from just a conceptual pitch level,
Yeah.
not how he was executed, like in action, just from a purely I pitch you this character context.
Alright.
General Grievous kind of is a stupid idea, right?
You said his name, and like I thought it was gonna be like you were gonna give me all of his characteristics, and I was gonna like blank out everything I know about Star Wars. How dare you say that about General Grievous?
times. Exactly.
Of course, the way he's introduced in just the movies is the stupidest system I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. Just from concept, just from initial first impression,
Droid
that's a
General,
really stupid idea.
Jedi Hunter, multiple arms, minds his own business, and then hello there. And that's when he dies? It's kind of dumb. Uh, did they actually meet in Clone Wars?
Who?
Like the Anakin Obi-Wan versus Grievous.
No,
Yeah, but who-
that
did
was
who
the whole
meet?
deal.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
had
they've
to
ever
write
fought.
all of Clone Wars to avoid Anakin and Grievous meeting.
I respect
Just
that
because
immensely.
of that one line.
Yeah.
I respect that so much. Because can you imagine how many conversations Anakin and Ahsoka have had about that individual? And then for Anakin to show up like, oh, you're shorter than I expected.
Yeah.
And I love the edit that somebody did where they made Grievous taller
Oh yeah.
to like even send it home. Because Grievous is already like a foot taller than Anakin.
he walks to the camera, and just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah. I love Star Wars fans. I love when Star Wars fans are involved in the production of the media itself as well. That's where I think it shines the most.
Yeah.
Because Dave Filoni is a fan.
Oh, okay.
You know, more him. If anybody is listening to this, I'll just throw that out through the whole episode. I feel like I have. That was my mission.
I loved being on the prequel memes subreddit for a period, because there was a point where some guy was doing a daily edit where it was Grievous undoing his arms with the lightsabers, but he added an arm and a lightsaber every day,
Yeah.
and
I
it got
remember
like
that.
so ridiculous. It was amazing.
I remember at one point it was like I want to say it was 30 seconds long. Mm-hmm. It was just
Yeah.
what a great time to be alive.
Yeah, man.
This era.
For sure. Well,
I mean, this era in like media is fun to be a part of because we're not at the point where AI has destroyed everything we know, and we got to
that's
see
a
like
lot.
Yeah, Hollywood did that for it.
we got to see the birth of digestible internet connection,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
and yeah,
we played Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original.
for a millennia.
Yes.
I still play it.
I will still play it.
I played it yesterday. I went through. So there's this speed run of Star Wars Battlefront 2 called All Maps, where you go through all the maps and you don't die.
Oh,
Dang.
And I'm getting closer. I'm down to 4 deaths, and I can't stand Polis Massa for the life of
gosh.
me. It's a tube of a choke point, and I can't not die there.
That's the asteroid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's where
that one is brutal.
yeah, it's where Padme ended up dying.
Yeah. Weird map for a Battlefront game. But
Yeah, I mean it's in the end of episode 3. You're grabbing everything and anything you can get your hands on.
I guess.
They went a little outside of their creation bubble with that map though, because the only thing we saw Polis Massa is it's a rock, and there's a medical bed on that rock.
It's a
That's about it.
pretty inconvenient place for a hospital when you think about it. At any point, it can just smash into another asteroid nearby.
That is true. I thought you were saying from like a location situation, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying now. That is an interesting decision to make. Click clacking around in the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the past 2 hours, I've been trying to figure out how we're doing wine or cheese today.
It has to be different somehow.
Space bear. I had an
Luke and
idea.
I's thought would just be the monster from Hoth.
the Wampa.
Maybe. I have a better idea. All right.
I don't. We'll be the judge of that, but here we go. You slowly turned into the Emperor.
Here, let me sit down on my chair and sit back. you. All right. So you're an Imperial soldier
Ooh.
at a certain base. I'll disclose maybe later on. You two are having dinner together. It's just after your long day of patrolling around the forest. You know, making sure there's no rebels around.
Me and Luke.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just having dinner, talking about your day. whenever one of the one of the Imperial officers comes in and says, 4-2, you haven't checked in. We warned you about this last week. Which one? And then one of you say.
As All right, I'll lie. Yeah, sorry, my mic, my speakers have had static in my headset, my helmet.
The check-in clock is like you just like put your blaster to it as you walk past it in the hallway.
Did I literally not hear you at all? I was picturing. Whatever, go on.
You just check in, man. Like you walk through the door, it's right there. The panel's on the left. Come on, we talked about this.
Well, first of all,
4-2, we talked about this.
Okay, first of all, don't
right.
you take his side. Second of all, you just got like free labor from me. Why are you complaining? Third of all, sorry, I won't do that again.
All right, first of all, second of all, and third of all, just do your job. And he turns around and walks away. And on the way out, he like peeks back in, like, don't let it happen again. And like the door goes and shuts. Yeah, so you're in the canteen. A couple other people are like mumbo jumboing around you. Yeah, that's the end of the evening. Guy comes over to you, kind of bulky, kind of on the bigger side. He looks like he could, if he went to a sporting event in real life, he would have to pay for 2 seats.
Okay.
So he comes over, he sits down, he like pushes you to the side a little bit, Scott. And well, wait, how are you guys picturing you guys sitting at this table?
I assumed I was sitting across from him.
All right, so we're on the same page. Scott?
So yeah, we're in a
you're with
booth,
you?
and he like pins me into the,
Yeah,
into the inside of the booth.
She's like, oh, you mind if I sit here? After he's like halfway down already. All Scott can see is the blue moon slowly encapsulating his entire body. Yeah, you know, he sits down. He doesn't really care for an answer. Like, oh, you guys see what happened to Tim last week?
My favorite Star Wars character.
Tim.
Hey, if Luke can be in the Star Wars universe, why not Tim? They're both biblical.
You know what? Fair enough.
No, you haven't seen Tim? You didn't see what he did last week?
No, I didn't hear.
What did Tim do?
Wait till you get the load of this. He found Captain Kazi's he found his tool belt, and he went out and built a fence around his little speeder bike. Oh, I can't wait for Captain Kazi to see what happens next.
Oh, you gotta be kidding! Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be so funny. I hope. I wonder what's gonna happen. He's gonna be livid. All right, well, I'm going to bed. See ya. He like gets up with his food, and on his way out of the canteen, you see him like lean back, put the tray up, and all of the food like just funnel down his throat. And, like he just tosses the tray over, like, you know, on top of the garbage cans, like how they have the tray return. He lands it
Star Wars,
perfectly,
yeah.
flawlessly into the other trays. You know, he walks out of the canteen. So,
That guy's a character, isn't he? Luke, what do you want your first name to be?
Well, I thought we were numbers.
Doing numbers. All
your
right, so
numbers,
four-
your numbers to
4-1.
the higher ups, but your buddies in the canteen.
Oh,
So yeah.
Greg.
Isn't that right, Greg? That guy's a character.
Is that short for something?
Greg.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing a play because
GR-EG.
GR-EG.
Greg.
Yeah.
I like it. It's very Star Warsy. All right, so the day's winding down. You guys finish your food. everyone's starting to like leave. There's a guy in like a cloak. He's out of uniform. He's in like a cloak down in the corner. He's kind of like one of the last 4 people in the canteen with you guys. There's like roughly enough seating for like 40, 50 people in here. So like it feels pretty empty with just 5 people, including you and the cloaked man in the corner. You guys want to get seconds? You guys want to go to bed? You want to talk to the cloaked figure?
No, I'm hungry. I'm going for seconds.
So Luke goes up and gets seconds. Scott, you have anything you want to do?
I follow him up to talk to him, but I don't get anything.
Oh, okay. This isn't very realistic. I feel like you join in on the food, but you know, this is your character. It's not supposed to be real life.
Huh. I thought that added that little detail. I thought that made it more realistic, but whatever. I can get food.
I mean, realistic to you as like your personality in real life. Anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not calling you fat. I'm just saying that I've never known you to turn down food.
You are
impossible.
Correct.
But if this is your character, it's your character. You can do what you want. So you go up, kind of hang out with him. You know, the lunch lady's like, "Did you guys see what happened to Captain Kazi's speeder bike out in front?"
There's something about a fence, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. I'm not gonna be here for what happens. I don't want any part of it.
Wait, you think Captain Cassie will take it pretty bad?
You didn't see me today, right?
Was that supposed to be a forced mind trick because it didn't work?
No. What do you mean? I'm the lunch man. Like, what do you... Ooh, potatoes, tomatoes, something about spaghetti. Give me the formioli. He, like, slops more food onto, like, Luke's palate.
Yum.
If I was a Jedi, I wouldn't be working the spatula. Tell you that much.
Yeah, you'd be dead, frickin' traitors.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Laughing.
Order 66 was flawless.
Yeah, my uncle was part of that. He was actually the one that shot down Plo Koon. I don't know if I ever told you guys that.
No, you've never mentioned that before, 4-2. You've never ever said that before.
Oh, I'm sorry if I bring it up, but it just so happens to be the reason I got this job.
All right, you guys gonna go eat, or you're just gonna stand here and bicker? I want to go to bed tonight.
I'm sensing Gabe wants us to move the story forward.
The lunchman closes the gate like it's a store at Walmart.
He brings down the roll-up door.
Chung, 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 chung. Click, latch, click, latch.
Click. Watching Wazowski.
Yeah, that vibe.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we go back and sit down. And as we sit down, I turn to Greg, say, "Hey, who is that cloaked man in the corner? I haven't seen him before. What kind of edgelord is this?"
I heard that.
What are you gonna do about it, fool? We can put you right in the brig.
Yeah. He slinks back into his chair, covers himself a little bit more.
Who is this fool, Greg?
I can still hear you.
Well, who are you then? Answer.
They call me Jeremy, short for Jeremiah.
And all the eyes are replaced with ones.
Don't forget it. Yeah, that was cool. That's okay.
I walk over and start talking to him.
What do you want?
So are you new here? What's your deal?
You want to play Pazik?
Is that like that chess?
Here, I'll deal
Star
you
Wars
in.
Chess?
No, it's not.
Run!
Here, all right. So you're trying. You have in your hand. You have 6 cards. They have plus 1, 2, 3, minus 1, 2, 3 on it. And I'll pull out of this deck a card, and then we'll pull out another card, and then you're trying to get closer to 21 than me.
Okay.
All right. So you can play. It's a best of 3. Or it's best of 5. My mom taught me a little bit about this, and so first person to win 3 rounds wins. All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, you don't sound ready. I'm taking my cards and I'm going home. He like stands up.
What a valuable character.
He like waddles out. If you want to play me, you have to practice more. Yeah, that's what he needs to do. Yeah. And the door like closes. And so there you are, sat alone in the corner.
Whatever. All right. Part of me wanted to just shoot him so something would happen, but I just go back over and sit next to Greg. Did you want that character to be significant? Because I feel like I gave you an opportunity.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if you'd pay attention to him or not.
Man.
I'm realizing how long this storyline might take to do. I might speed this up a little bit here in a moment.
All right. So Greg, I was wondering, do you think we'd be able to switch shifts with Johnson and Michaels?
Such generic white names.
Oh, and Jeremy wasn't.
Short for Jeremiah Aya. All right, that's pretty original.
I've been wanting to get away for the weekend, and I need to switch shifts with him. And I wondered if you wanted to do that with me.
Well, I don't know. That might be a taller order than you think.
Why is that?
Well, I heard that, what were the names? They're so bland, I already forgot.
Which one?
Mine?
Yeah. Not your characters' names, the ones you were just talking
Michaels
about.
and
Michaels. Okay.
the other one.
I heard...
Johnson.
Yeah.
I heard Michaels is having some family problems back on Coruscant.
Oh? His wife finally leave him?
I don't think she
What
left.
does that mean? Finally.
I'm trying to imagine what the workforce talk is. I don't know.
It's about time. She's been with me for 2 months.
Got family problems?
Yeah, I heard something about apparently his now you didn't hear this from me, but apparently his nephew's thinking about joining up with the rebellion.
What?
No. Wait, I'm not here.
Well,
Yeah, I guess his sister found a bunch of propaganda pamphlets in his quarters, and he's been acting all moody recently.
he's been complaining about that nephew for years. Frankly, I'm not surprised he would turn like that. I don't know. I mean, it's just incredible to me that they could print that garbage. That young kids like that, young impressionable kids like that, could even imagine that our dear sweet leader, Darth Vader, would kill younglings. I mean, it's just not true.
I like how much you're leading into this bit.
I really wanted to see how nationalistic I could get him to go.
Leaned into this bit as much as George Lucas did. So, the intercom goes off. Bong, bong. Click.
That was so stupid.
What do you mean? It's bedtime. Get to yourself. Or whatever they have here.
Not only are they soldiers, but they're space soldiers, and they call it bedtime. It got me way more than it should have.
I just love the bedtime.
Here's the message across.
Alright, I'm gonna turn in. You gonna be up for a while?
Yeah, I don't know. I might do one last small round before I head back.
All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna follow Luke for a little bit.
Okay.
Because what could possibly happen in your bedroom? So Luke goes to check out of the he scans his blaster, says he's going out. Going out alone on this forest planet, probably not the best idea, but
Wait, I thought we were on a
I
Star
assumed we'd been
Destroyer.
on the Death Star the whole time, honestly.
No. You're on like you're in a base that it's just like in that little outpost in the middle of the forest.
This changes things. Go on.
Indeed.
And so Luke goes out, makes a quick round of base. I mean, you guys, you know your patrol. You've been doing this for years. Like, it's not really that difficult to do. Nothing's really that out of place. Like, there's some bush that's padded down that haven't been in the past. There's a few like broken off branches that he notices that weren't there, whenever you guys went back to base for dinner. Yeah, that's everything else pretty in the ordinary. Like the other patrols that are supposed to be out there are out there. They wave to you as you pass, but everything's pretty normal. I mean, it's the middle of the woods, just wildlife to do whatever. Yeah, that's I don't really see much else. Is there anything specifically you wanted to do while on patrol?
No, not really.
Just out here getting the lay of the land.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So you go back to base, check in your bedroom, hang your blasters up in the armory, take your armor off, ready for bed, sleep, wake up. Scott's in your room when you wake up. Urgent, sweating. He's not in his armor. He's just like in his undergarments, like sweating profusely.
Shh. Don't say anything. There's something outside the compound.
I have a direction I want to take this. I'll see if it's possible as we continue on.
All right.
Like what?
I don't know what it is, but we've had 2 missing patrols just this morning. Captain wants us to get dressed and come down right away. But the biggest thing about it is that it seems to be have very excellent hearing, so you gotta keep it down.
So you guys get dressed and go down to the mess hall, and up on top of like where they serve the food is Captain Kazi.
All right, we've been planning for this for months now. My mother-in-law is here. People are missing. I don't know what. They might have fled.
This is Star Wars.
I don't want to fled
mother-in-law joke.
but some jagoff fenced in my bike. Whichever one of you did it, I won't hurt you, but take the fence down as soon as you can so I can leave. Whatever I did, if I can leave, I will return in 3 days after she is gone.
The lights start to flicker. The ground starts to shake.
Hurry! Who did it?
I don't even remember who did it.
Was it you, Tim the Tool Man? I feel like it was you.
Oh yeah, Tim. How am I supposed to think at a time like this?
That's what I'm saying.
That wasn't even me in universe saying that.
He like hops down.
All right, let's eat breakfast. I don't know what to do. I'm stressed. I need food. Do we have breakfast today?
No, the lunch lady was afraid of what you were gonna do with Tim. So she left.
All right.
maybe-
First off, Brian's cool, and he's not a woman.
Yeah, I swear you said lunch lady.
Secondly, he likes the phrase lunch man. Thirdly, we gotta have something to eat. Hang on, I'm going back here. And he like opens the door, he closes the door. You hear rummaging around, pots and pans shattering while the lights flicker and doom.
Pots and pans shattering.
They're steel too. And they're shattered.
Well, yeah, everything's chrome in the Imperial era.
Everything's chrome in the future.
So, everybody's like murmuring to each other, like, I can't believe, what are we gonna do? She's even more strict than he is. I don't know how we're gonna survive these next 3 days. On another side of the canteen, you hear, Tim, we gotta take that other fence, get his bike, and get out of here. We will not survive this again. Last time we got rode up 15 times in 3 days. Like, I can't do this again. I have a family, and Tim just doesn't say anything. He just sits there like. Another side of the canteen, you hear like, I don't know, I kind of like his mother-in-law. That's the whole
like...
conversation. That's all of it.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, what do you guys want to try and do? This story has taken a drastic turn.
Do you guys remember the Ewok Adventure movie?
A little bit.
It felt totally un-Star Wars-like, even though they were using all Star Wars characters. That's the same feeling I'm getting with this.
We're getting to more Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars, it's because you haven't Star Wars enough.
I don't need to hear this again.
If you don't like Star Wars...
This feels less like Star Wars and more like those like Comedy Central like Troopers videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Those were great.
Was that Comedy Central or was that like College Humor or whoever?
College Humor.
Okay.
So I turned to Greg, I guess, and say, why is his mother-in-law here? Do you know anything about this?
Michael, like, leans over.
No, Greg.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, hang on. Johnson leans over. So you guys got my shift this morning? We need to get out of here.
I didn't, change of plans.
No, deal's a
No,
deal.
but-
You took my Skittles already, dude.
I did eat them all.
Skittles?
I don't know, what do they eat in space?
Blue milk.
You took my space Skittles, man. I don't know what they snack on. They don't, like, explore food options in Star Wars a whole lot.
Look, I'll buy you more. Just don't. I don't want this shift anymore.
Well, all right, it's a little too late for that, man. She's been scheduled to be here for a while now. I don't know why you'd pick now to try to like mix it up. You know how strict she is.
I didn't know she was coming.
She came all the way from Coruscant, dude. Did?
Oh, no. Did? Wait.
What?
Let me get your story straight here. You mentioned Coruscant earlier.
Yeah.
About a nephew. Is this
No.
a different character?
What?
Like the whole family.
Oh no, I'm just like leaning into she's a first officer. She's like a higher rank than her son.
Oh, okay.
Or her son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Gotcha.
Yeah. So like she's here to like whip you guys into shape. That's why everyone's scared. That's the plot line.
Huh. Interesting.
So you can, this whole time, pots, pans everywhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I found beans! Who wants beans for breakfast? Everybody groans. Beans again? Come on, man. This is the fourth week in a row. And so all this whilst hearing the doom, lights flicker, doom, lights flicker some more.
You got to lead us somewhere. I have no idea where to take this.
I don't know if I want to lead into like a Godzilla bit of like in the hall you can hear.
Wait, is it the Gundar? No, what's the monster from the Clone Wars?
I think I'm talking
Zillo
about
Beast?
Rancor.
Yeah, the Zello Beast.
Okay, no.
Is
Yeah,
it?
a little bit
Okay.
like that. I was thinking more like Rancor.
Oh, okay.
So,
Remember that, the most underwhelming final level in a Lego game?
Little bit. Skywalker Saga didn't do it much better either.
Stay on target.
So like he makes beans. You guys want beans, or you just want to go like back to your room? Or rooms, if you want.
I have no idea where to take this. You pick this one.
Oh, you pick whichever. You want more lore, or you do want to keep the story going?
Give me beans.
All right, Luke takes the beans.
It's decided then.
Scott,
Alright,
do you want
fine.
beans?
Yeah, sure. I'll take beans.
All right.
Wine or beans?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be wine or cheese.
You'll figure it out.
Ah, whatever. We'll get to the rest of it later. So you guys sit down. You sit down with Johnson and Michael.
Michael's, yeah.
Michael's. Did you guys prepare it all? Michael like leans over like the table, like over his plate of half beans, like they're like slopped together. Yeah, did you make sure all your uniforms are pristine? You know how much he hates anything being out of place.
I look down at the shirt tucked in coming out of my fly. I'm like, yeah, we're ship shape, baby.
I don't know what she's gonna do. We are the lowest performing outpost on this planet. We're going to all die.
Why is she even coming? This is like the last place she should need to come.
We are the lowest performing outpost on this planet.
Well, it doesn't.
We're all going to die.
I feel like her skills would be. Well, we didn't even know she was coming. When was this announced?
I don't know, man. It's like they threw it on the little notice board out in the hallway.
Huh. I don't look at those. It's just
the only
ads
time Captain Kazi stands on top of that counter is when it's dire. All right. And it's dire right now because his speeder bike is trapped by Tim Allen over there. He like keeps eating his beans. Johnson's not saying anything. Just very nervously like he hasn't really touched his beans. He isn't really eating a whole lot. He's just kind of there, hang out.
Hey, are you gonna eat those?
No. He pushes it your way.
You sure you should be eating that many, Greg? You know what beans do to you.
Well, a well-fed army is an effective army.
I don't know, man.
Besides, it's been 2 weeks since the last incident. I think I'll be fine.
Michael looks over to you like, I still can't use my toilet, man.
Hopefully hopefully you eating this many beans won't somehow affect our performance under his mother-in-law.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see it.
I have my D20 in hand. So you guys finish the breakfast. Everyone starts to like go back to their cabins to get like ready for flagpole essentially. I know in like real military, like you do flagpole then you eat breakfast, but like this is a little it's a space. It's space.
Yeah.
Time's weird. So I mean, like everybody goes back, they touch up their uniforms. You can hear murmuring out in the hallway. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Just another inspection by the uppers to you guys. Captain Kazi might die later on. And so, everybody, they get ready. They get in uniform. They get their blasters, tidy, clean. Everybody's dressed up. They have their ceremonial uniforms on because it's the first time the first officer's coming back. So they want to look nice. Everyone stands at attention out in front of their whatever. It's not cell. What is the correct term for it? Just their room?
Barracks?
Yeah, out in front of their door from their barracks. And so she starts walking down. All right, everybody. You know why I'm here.
What in the world?
I'm realizing she's from Coruscant. I don't know what a Coruscantian accent sounds like. I like redneck idea better. All right, everybody. Space hillbilly.
I'm from Southern Coruscant.
I guess British, but I don't feel like doing a British accent. So, all right, everybody. I don't know where I was taking this anymore. It's left me. She like walks down the line, like inspecting everybody, like looking up and down. She like adjusting a few people that have their feet like very slightly out of place. She'll like look down at the boots, look back up at the person, look down at the boots again. They'll shift their stance, whatever.
I
And-
begin to sweat because I didn't have any time between breakfast and this.
So she
and
gets
my shirt. Yeah.
she gets down to Johnson, and she gets down to Michaels. She gets down to Luke. Looks down. You lay off the beans. Keeps walking. What are you? Like looks down at your fly back up to you. Where's your badge? Who's your commanding officer?
Your son-in-law.
I'll deal with him later. Zip your fly up, son.
It's stuck. Help
All right.
me.
She points to like, 4-2, and then, Greg. You guys got first watch tonight, and last watch tonight. Understood?
Yeah. What's her title?
Understood?
Aye, sir, ma'am. Papuba.
Work on that. She walks away. So everybody's like, a sigh of relief. Oh, we made it through. All right. Only.
Wait, so it's me and Greg on patrol or on watch?
Yeah, you guys get first and last watch tonight.
Okay.
So everybody lets out a sigh of relief. Oh, only 70 more of those to go. Can't wait. So the day went pretty average. There was another meeting towards like the end of the day, whenever the sun was starting to go down. A lady stands up on the podium in front of everybody after supper. All right, it's coming to my attention. 2 squadrons have been missing since my arrival. We need to go out. We need to find them. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, aren't you a bunch of enthusiasts? A bunch of
What
people.
is her title? I don't know how to address her.
I don't know. Just yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
It's military, whatever. All right, so first watch comes around. You and Luke go out, do your patrol. Very dark out. You guys have, small flashlights on the sides of your helmets. You're just waltzing through the forest. There's a few other search parties out there with you, just looking for the missing patrol people that weren't there. And you notice in like the pitch darkness as you like round one of the corners, there's a spike with one of the stormtroopers' helmets on it.
Oh no.
Like a little,
Are you really?
like a little blood slash across it. I've never seen that before. You want to look around? You want to just keep going?
Greg, look at this. This is. Oh no. Greg, this is.
Oh, too many beans!
Quiet! Greg! No!
The bushes start to rattle around you guys.
Greg, keep it down. I'm trying to show you that this is. This is Johnson's brother's helmet.
Not Johnson's brother's helmet. He was like my 19th favorite person in this story. You hear like a few like distant, high-pitched voices in the distance.
Greg?
Yeah.
What? Get a hold of yourself, man. This is life or death.
Stop
What are those
pooping
noises?
right now!
Stop pooping, Greg! Yeah.
Like, you want to wait for him to be done?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Yep.
All right, that sounds like a willing man.
Alright, let's get out of here. So I start jogging off back towards the compound.
There's a couple piles of leaves that you pushed over that weren't there prior. And the high-pitched voices are getting a little bit louder. There's a few footprints that you don't remember seeing as well, like boot prints.
Boot prints.
Yeah. So you get about
okay.
halfway back to the base from where you guys are at. Still about another mile or mile and a half away from base. And you see somebody's boot. It's off the side of the trail.
This is Johnson's brother's boot. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I wish I had a character to like be in the situation with you. So you want to like investigate it all? There's very clearly one path that's beaten down across the trail. If you want to investigate it at all,
Yeah, I go down that trail
Luke, do you follow him?
tentatively, just like stepping as quietly as I can, but looking off into the distance.
All right. Well, I mean it's dark out. You can only see as far as your flashlight does.
Okay.
Luke, do you want to go with him, or do you want to go back to base?
I was wrong!
Greg, you gotta hold it, man.
There's a lot of noise around you right now.
I start looking around wildly.
I waddle over to him. All right, let's go.
All right, so you guys head down the beaten down path very, carefully, and out from one of the trees as you're walking by comes out two people, two stormtroopers, two allies that fall out at your feet, and these we're never doing that again.
Johnson's brother. No, whatever.
What do you want? You didn't see me.
What are all these noises? What's going on?
You don't know? Kazi's mother-in-law is coming to the base. Why else would we be out here in the middle of night trying to hide in a tree?
Oh, so you're the reason we're
Do you have
all
any
out
food?
here instead of Oh!
You guys see? What was Lunchman's name? Did I give him a name? His name's Lewis now.
Okay.
Have you guys seen Lunchman Lewis? I'd kill right now for one of his burgers.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since yesterday.
It's been that long. He's gone. We're never seeing Lunchman Lewis again. Never. Yeah, last time this happened, he was gone for 3 years. And we're never seeing him now.
How did he
So,
avoid a court-martial being gone that long?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I feel like I know where you're trying to get to, Gabe, but you keep
We'll get
throwing
there.
things in my
Yeah, I know.
way to
Yeah.
help. Okay.
I'm the story man. You're but a pawn.
It certainly feels like it. I have no role here.
I mean, you certainly exist. So, you and Johnson's brother, Johnson's brother's friend. So you guys out here to hide too, or you guys just like on a patrol?
Yeah,
You
we're
get
on
what-
patrol. We're out looking for you.
Oh well, you didn't find me. All right, you understand? Neither of you saw me, right? You don't sound very reassuring. He pulls out his gun.
Oh, me too now.
So,
What?
this is becoming way and way harder to make realistic.
Well, you're not throwing me a bone. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, I mean, just answer a question.
What was the question?
He's asking why you guys are out here.
And we told him.
All right. Well, you guys didn't see me, right?
All right, fine. We won't tell anyone you were here.
All right. Good. All right. We're gonna go that way. Don't follow us. All right. You guys are way too loud. Lay off the beans, dude. You remember what happened last time? My toilet still doesn't work. He holsters his gun and he walks away. And Johnson's friend's brother, or the other way, follows after him. Immediately they start sprinting back the other way. Guys, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here now. Come on. And they like grab one of you by the arm and starts dragging you away.
Wait, so they walked away and then sprinted back.
Yeah, they start sprinting back towards the path that you guys are, walking from. He grabs Luke by the arm and starts running past you. Johnson's brother's friend tries to grab you, but a little bit more dainty. Doesn't quite have the muscle to move you as easily. And behind, you see what looks like giant long darts being tossed at you out of the darkness. Some of them stick into the trees, some of them stick into the ground at your feet. None of them hit you quite yet, but yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, I grab Johnson's brother's friend.
We call him Frank.
But that's not his name.
All right, that's fair enough.
I grab him and start sprinting back towards the base.
How do you grab him?
How do you want me to grab him, Gabe?
You carry him back like a bride.
Seductively.
I carry him back like a bride.
Like a bride.
Yeah.
I think that's the most entertaining if someone animates this.
All right.
On the off chance,
Yeah.
you never know.
Hopefully.
So you start sprinting back through the woods. There's spears coming left, right. And you hear like Aiba! going out from behind you as they chase you down. Rocks clicking off the trees. Some of them hit you, but not hard enough to like do any damage. You trip and fall. And
land on Johnson's brother's friend.
no. You trip. You like push them out of the way. You're not a meanie. You're mentally aware enough. So
Okay.
you trip. You push him off to the side of you so you don't land on him, and you land on your back. And as you look down, some of the spears are still flying past you. You look off to your right. Johnson's brother's friend looks down and immediately gets impaled in the forehead by one of the spears. What do you do?
Without picking my head up, I kind of, I guess, reverse army crawl on my back towards the nearest tree.
All right, so you get behind one of the trees, and you look to your right, and there's another stormtrooper there. Like, turn your light off, dude. Turn your light off, dude. They're gonna see us.
I click it off.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how long I've been out here?
How long have you been out here?
You hear like rustling, like just running past you. And these spears still flying everywhere, rocks clicking off trees. And you hear a thump. The footsteps start to like calm back down. Everything starts to go back quieter. And what do you want to do now? Also, in the distance, you hear a. So you know what you know.
Is it in the direction of the base that I hear that noise?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg should have made it back by now. They must have gotten to him. Look, what's your name, man?
There's no response.
Whatever, he's useless. I gotta save Greg. And I start crawling on all fours towards the sound of Greg's farts. His explosive diarrhea, perhaps.
So whilst you're crawling the mile, along the way, something grabs your foot. Something very, very like claw-like grabs your foot.
I turn around quickly to look at it.
So you turn around, you click on your flashlight. It's a little fur ball, fur ball boy. It's got like a little bonnet on.
What's the?
It's like pawing at your leg.
What are you supposed to be? Shh, quiet. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No.
No.
Somehow that felt more wrong than a person.
Suddenly, sticks in every direction start being tossed at you. more rocks than sticks.
I start shooting wildly around me.
So, are you on your back in this scenario? I guess so, because
I'm kind of like leaning on my arm because he grabbed my ankle.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, while you're shooting sporadically in your surrounding area, you look up the tree, and down rappelling is a man in a cloak. I don't remember what I had lined up for him, but he's gonna grab you and like slinky, like Mission Impossible his way back up into the tree with you.
Okay.
Want to play Pazik? Did you practice?
No, actually.
I don't have anybody that knows how to play Pazik. All right, man, you gotta help me out here.
I was almost killed by little. Well, there's no other way to say it. Little bears. What are they anyway?
You've clearly never been out here before. They know how to play Pazak. I don't know which way you're supposed to say it. Pazik.
I still am not clear what it is.
It's a card game, man. Here. He pulls out like this set. It's like a little platform. So, all right, so you have cards in your hand that have plus and minus on them. And you're trying to get closer to 21 than me. First person to like, all right, you know what? This is stupid. You're on your own.
It's like cornhole, but with cards.
It's blackjack essentially, but you can like play cards to like lessen your value instead of always having to go up.
Okay.
That's basically the entire game. Like it's so much fun. It's a real Star Wars card game, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he's like, well, whatever. This isn't the time for it. Well, I'll teach you later. And so like he closes this case again. We need explosives, and a lot of them. You know where we can find some?
You beat me to it. I was.
This is so dumb.
What do you mean it's dumb? You're in a tree with a man that just saved your life. You owe this to me. Give me some explosives, man.
I had a back at the compound, or we could. Oh. Do you remember that guy that was with me last
Janus?
night?
Oh, no.
Greg.
Who?
Greg?
Never heard of him.
Well, he has an explosive personality, shall we say. And he can help you out.
I'm listening.
There's one problem. He's down there, and I point towards the area before the compound.
That could be classified as a problem, yes. Well, we'll see what we can do. So he like slinkies his way back down the tree with you. He cuts the wire. He's like, all right, we're gonna sneak up. We're gonna go around the right side. Whenever we get close enough to the door, we're just gonna sprint it. All right. 1, 2, 3, team, and he like starts walking ahead.
I like try to keep up with him.
So you guys get to like the outskirts of the entrance of the base, and you can see a bunch of like kind of green dots, like circling it. It's like, all right, you ready?
Ready for what?
You ready to go in? Like,
Okay.
We have to go in together. If we go in one at a time, they're gonna know.
Okay. All right.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, team. You didn't say it. 1, 2, 3, team.
Team.
All right. Thank you.
I love. There's a guy in Star Wars who like is insistent upon like Pee-wee football hype up.
All right. It's just be like we did back in the day. You remember me?
Yeah, back in
course you don't.
Fingers Canyon back home. Yeah.
Yep. It's just like Whomping Rats, kid? Yeah, all right, let's go. he starts basically you're jogging, but he's like giving it his all. He's trying to go as fast as he possibly can. He's not very athletic. And as soon as he takes his first step onto like the open area, spears start come flying in left, right, center. So you two are jogging along the way, and he realizes that there's a situation that could guarantee that he gets to the base without dying. So he tries to trip you.
Okay.
How do you respond to that?
I'm not sure. Well. What are you doing, man? We said team together.
No, come on, man. I need this. Give this to me. Come on.
No, don't. You want me to die out here? Don't trip me.
Come on, man. I need this. I'm so close to getting off this planet. Come on, man. Just a little. Come on. Just fall.
No.
Gosh.
We start like kicking each other's shins.
You just stopped in the middle of a firefight.
Yeah.
Just fall over. Come on, man. Give this to me. I want it more than you. Stop. Gosh.
Get off.
Stop.
No.
Ah.
Ouch.
He gets impaled with a spear through the chest, and he like falls over. You did this to me. This is your fault. Your fault. It's not. My blood's on your hand. Here, give me your hand. My blood.
No.
It's on your hands now.
Gross.
It's on your hands now. You shoot him in the head.
I shoot him in the head and duck down behind a tree.
Why? Just go into the base, man.
I'm in a firefight. Well, all right, whatever.
All right, fine. You go behind the tree. Whatever. It's fine.
No,
all right.
I charge the base.
All right. Well, the door's locked. You should have went behind the tree, man.
Okay, bro.
What?
I hope there's an ending here soon.
Well, I mean, we'll see. In the distance, you hear.
Craig. I sprint off towards the direction of the sound.
All right, so you're back enveloped by the darkness of the forest. You can kind of see like a few streams of light from the full moon, but not enough to like make out anything like specific in the darkness. But you follow the sounds for a while, and you come across who was it? Michael's brother or Johnson's brother? Johnson's brother's
friend, I think.
No, Johnson's brother's friend got impaled in the face.
Oh, right. So it's Johnson's brother.
So this is Johnson's brother that you find now. Without a head on the path.
Huh.
And so, all you hear is, yep, or whatever they say.
Why are they all Speedy Gonzales?
I don't know what they. I know they have a language and it's known. And whatever,
I feel like it was a pretty accurate.
They do say yub yub. I just don't. I don't have the energy to keep going with the high pitch. So you hear Aiba, you hear yub yub, you hear the Ewok noises.
Yeah.
And you go a little farther, you find his head on another spear, and you just whatever. I gotta find Greg. So you keep following the noises, and you find Greg with his pants around his ankles, like sat over like a tree.
Like veins in his forehead.
Yeah, his face slightly purple.
Greg, you don't look so good.
I have been right here. think the beans were bad.
Greg, you're not supposed to force it, man. It's bad for you.
Is it actually?
Yes, hemorrhoids.
Oh, is that how that happens? That explains
Also,
a lot.
Also, you could rupture your innards and then get poop inside you.
I
Which
mean,
has happened.
if it's a party inside, it's a party outside. So, Bean's bad idea. Yeah. Some of the trees start speaking to you. Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically midnight at this point. The only light you have is from your helmet's flashlights and the moon above you.
Okay.
Everything else pitch black.
Greg, looks like this is a last stand.
You have your gun?
Huh?
Do you have your gun?
Yeah, of course.
Well,
I
I've
just
got
killed a man
mine.
with it. All right.
All right, I got my gun.
All right.
I got
The safest place is if we stand back to back. All right, I'll go around by. Ah!
Yeah, maybe no.
It's all over my boot.
You slip and fall.
There's still chunks of beans in it. Do you not digest anything?
I said
It's just as they went in with the sauce and everything.
I told you, man. I think something's wrong with those beans.
Do you know how hard it is? Well, you do, but do you know how hard it is to dry clean armor? Ah,
A
man.
spear sticks in the log between you guys.
What the heck is attacking us right now?
I don't.
Aiba. A tall 4-foot Ewok emerges from the brush.
Shoot it! Shoot it!
Yup, yup. The blaster bolts deflect off into the distance.
Oh no.
Invincible bear!
I detach a thermal detonator and chuck it at the.
Hang on. Where's my
roll
there it
die.
is. Sure, it explodes.
And roll a die for if it does damage.
Another one pops up behind it. No, by it explodes, I mean the 4-foot tall Ewok explodes.
Yeah. I expected it since you brought back another one immediately.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Luke's, creating outards out of his innards. 4-foot tall Ewoks coming at you, throwing practically small trees at you.
I grab a thermal detonator off of Johnson's friend's brother's
Johnson's
brother, and I throw it at the.
All right, so it explodes.
Okay.
Man, I gotta listen to the dice. If I roll it, I gotta listen to it. So it explodes. Another one does not pop up, no matter how much I want it to. And you just hear you hear pitter patter around you.
So do they surround us and like make it obvious so we don't have a shot?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg, should we try diplomacy?
Do you speak their language?
Where does that one land?
Between your legs.
Huh. I need that. Do you speak whatever this language is, because it can't be English because this is Star Wars. Do you speak this language?
Vietnamese,
Yeah, sure.
because they're in the trees.
Yeah. Hello, we don't mean any harm. We were just out on patrol looking for our comrades. Please don't harm us. We'll put our weapons down. I like lay mine down in Greg's schmutz. Don't harm us.
A rock hits you in the side of the head.
Which probably means I'm out cold.
No, it's not a big rock. It's just a rock. Like
Freaking ow! Dude,
you hear like a soft high five.
like I shoot in the air is what I do.
All right. As your blaster bolt goes through the trees, you can see from the afterglow, they're everywhere. You do hit one though.
Yeah. Hit one of them.
You hit one of them, and he falls down at like Greg's feet. And like you think of Gibby falling from the ceiling, like, thump thump.
Gibby! Greg, think of something quick.
I think there's a very simple solution that I don't think either of us are seeing.
What?
How do I tastefully describe suicide?
I don't know. You take like reindeer horns and you impale yourself.
No, we're not going out like that. What are you, crazy?
Scott, you're getting a phone call. In your helmet.
Oh.
Not in real life.
I want it to be the Skype ringtone. Alright, fine. It's the Imperial March.
It does exist in canon.
What?
Oh.
This is a problem.
Runt rump. Click click.
Click. I didn't realize. So I call the base. Can I call the base?
Sure.
All right, I call the base.
Flashback to the base.
Stupid lunch man. Or lunch lady. It was never clear.
Lunchman Lewis picks up. What you want?
We need. I'm not sure why you're picking up. I'm fairly
Nobody
certain
else is here.
Where is everyone?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of food, though. I'm pretty down with it.
Hang on.
I'm hanging
Do
on.
we still have the t-shirt cannon and a can of beans?
I like your thinking, man. I'll check. Click, click. You hear like the phone disconnected. But it's also in the tune of the Imperial March. A few spears start getting thrown at you. You know, some of them landing close to you, some of them getting closer. You know. Suddenly, another stormtrooper runs into like your circle of influence. guys, you won't believe. You won't. You won't. You got. Yeah. You won't believe it.
Why? Spit it out. Also, aren't we surrounded by Ewoks?
There's like these small bears everywhere. Oh my gosh, how have we seen these before? Oh my gosh, they killed Captain Kazi. I went to take down his fence around his speeder bike to like try to get away. And I got it down, but it wasn't there. It was out of gas or whatever speeder bikes use for fuel. It was out of go juice, and I'm so out of shape. Oh my gosh, man. So what are you guys doing here? You come here often? Like leans on the log. What is that? What is that smell? Why is your gun in it? What's happening here?
Gabe, are we still surrounded by Ewoks?
Yeah.
I just like look at him and then look back at the Ewoks and click on my flashlight just to show him what's around.
Oh, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
Does Lunchman Lewis still have that T-shirt cannon with the can of beans?
That's what I was wondering. I just got off the phone with him.
Hang on, let me call him. Click, click. Yo, what you want? Hey, do you have that T-shirt cannon with like a few more cans of beans? I don't know, man. I'm looking. I don't see a whole lot. I have the cannon, but like I don't see any beans. What do you want it for? What? Do you, I don't know what you want the T-shirt cannon for. Like I don't even know if beans will fit in there. Did you like have a plan, or are you just like curious? Get your last meal in. It's a nightmare out there, dude.
I was going to use Greg's behind as self-defense. If that wasn't clear,
really
Gabe.
Your game plan?
That was my actual game plan.
So mid-conversation, a spear gets thrown out of the dark and it impales that Tim Allen. Yeah, the phone's still on the line. Lunchman Lewis is just like, hey man, you there? Yeah. Well, it looks like they got another one. Click, click.
I'm having trouble figuring out how to set something up creative for you, Gabe. At first, I thought you were gonna have them capture us.
I thought about it, and I realized this episode's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out an out route.
All right. I grab Greg by the shoulders, spin him around so he's facing me, bend
Okay.
him over, pull his pants down, and like grab his arm and like cock it, like.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm like, Greg, fire! Greg?
Squeeze!
One singular cylinder falls out 2 inches in front of you.
This was not my plan. Why did you have to be healthy at the worst moment?
I think my innards have just fallen out at this point.
That was actually part of his intestines.
I grab my pistol for the Empire and charge into the crowd of Ewoks blasting away.
Do you have your flashlight on?
Sure.
All right, so you make it decently far. You get about 20 steps into
Just
it.
kill me.
Hang on, we're getting there. You gotta buy a vowel before you can make the word. So you start running through the trees. You're just pushing through brush left, right, and center, just going a direction where you think is away from danger. You're shooting anything and everything that moves in front of you, and then all of a sudden, darkness encapsulates your head, and your front of your face gets really heavy. So strange, so wild, so quirky. Do you have something you want to do, or
No, I was just like talking as if my mouth was muffled.
as if you're there? I mean, you got a helmet on.
Oh yeah. No, just
keep going.
lay out your plan. Yeah.
All right, so you keep running, you keep shooting randomly. You can't see anything anymore. You're like
Oh,
barely.
I try to pull it off, whatever it is.
You grab it, but you can't like pull it off specifically. Like if you pull it off, your helmet's coming off.
Well, I do that.
All right, so your helmet's off. There's flashlights on the blasters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure you had a way to like see things without your helmet. So you get it off. You throw it to the ground. One of the Ewoks roll off of it. You continue like pushing your way through the darkness. shooting anything, everything. You get to the point where it's a giant cliff in front of you. You turn back and you see like Greg a few paces behind you, like just trying to fend anything off that he can. He's like, Ewoks are jumping out of the tree at him, and he's like grabbing them by like the throat and throwing them away from him.
Could I give him some covering fire?
Yeah, so you start blasting back. You're giving him a little leeway to work with, so he can turn around and like fully run back towards you. And so there you guys are on the top of a cliff. A mantra of small bear-like creatures like funneling towards you slowly. At this point, it's just a mass high-pitched crowd, like slowly meandering, getting louder and louder and louder. You hear like other blaster fire in the distance and people screaming. And you look at Greg. You look back at the Ewoks.
Okay.
You look back at Greg. You look at the cliff. Look at the full moon. Look back at Greg. Greg looks at you.
Greg. I'm sorry for everything, I guess.
Greg takes his helmet off.
That's cool, man.
I don't know what you want us to do.
I don't know.
I've been mentally checked out for like the last half hour. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening. Gabe,
What?
I don't know what you want us to do. Like, you've already had so many opportunities to kill us. I don't know what you're leading up to. So I just stare at the Ewoks.
They stare back. You feel a connection.
All right, I jump off the cliff.
You know what? The love interest, little like 2
I'm
minutes
not
plotline.
falling in love with Greg.
You looked at the Ewok.
Oh, I still jump off the cliff.
All right, that's fair.
This is Greg's story now.
No, I jump off the cliff too.
I mean, I mean, in the end, you know, if your friend does jump off the cliff, would you do it too? And that's what this whole story is leading up to. I'm glad we got to the end of it. And miraculously, you guys survive, and the Ewoks are right behind you. That's the end of this week's Wine or Cheese. Tune in
right.
next year whenever I think about more Star Wars things in advance to us deciding to do a Star Wars episode.
This is fair. That's fair. We did kind of spring this on you.
Yeah. I was told we were doing this about 10 hours ago. So,
Actually,
It has been
but-
a while, actually. We're 4 minutes away from the 3-hour mark on my recording.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started talking at like 2 p.m. It's currently almost 7:45. So that's how long I've had to think about what we were doing for Wine or Cheese.
Yeah.
And it had neither of those things, but it did have bears and a lot of them. So I feel like that makes up for it.
Yeah. It did have bears.
So the thing that influenced this plot line was the
Yeah.
new Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign, or not campaign, but game mode called Ewok Hunt. And it is
Okay.
the most terrifying thing ever.
Is it?
Pitch darkness. You're
Oh.
a stormtrooper trying to survive thousands of Ewoks. You're just shooting anything and everything you can see through your little dinky flashlight. And your friends are dying around you everywhere.
Huh.
It's terrifying.
That would
I
be...
highly recommend it.
Well, it's not a mod, it's the new Battlefront.
Yeah, it's in well, it's not really new anymore. It's the one after the
EA
2015.
Battlefront.
Yeah, EA Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
It's just in the base game. It's pretty fun. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's one of like the fear of the unknown. It plays on that. Playing as the Ewoks, you feel like the Predator though. So much fun. But yeah, that concludes this week's at Wine or Cheese. Tune in next week or don't if you can.
What is the holiday? Do we want to do a Mother's Day episode? No, I'm answering that for us.
All right, the collective comments have agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Luke, aka Greg, do you have any like concluding
Encapsulations?
thoughts that are like somehow encapsulates the entire theme of this episode? Or just say something Star Wars related.
Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought
No,
not.
I
It's
haven't.
not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Well, then why do you know it? Is what he should have said in the movie, but he didn't. He just kind of went with it. I don't know. Clone Wars explains it, makes it more reliable.
It's
Watch more
it's
Star
legend.
Wars. Oh my gosh.
Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side that he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. He became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
I don't know what our outro song sounds like.